tonight's MAC showdown. Bowling Green won their first MAC title in 21 years last year and are one win away from a third consecutive year of bowl eligibility. On election night in Akron, the poll says the Zips have their starting quarterback healthy again. It's the Zips and Falcons right now. ESPN College Football Primetime is presented by Jimmy John's. And welcome to rainy InfoCision Stadium in Akron, Ohio for this MAC matchup between the Bowling Green Falcons and the Akron Zips. So happy you could join us on this Tuesday night from Ohio, along with former NFL linebacker Ray Bentley. I'm Mark Neely. Quint Kesnick with us down on the field. We'll hear from him shortly. Ray, before we get to tonight's game, the second college football playoff rankings just came out. How about your thoughts?
Well, I kind of like what they did. You have to remember, though, this is a snapshot after Week 10 heading into Week 11. And as they say, there is still a lot of football to be played.
And a lot of football to play in the MAC and the MAC East Division. What's interesting about this matchup, Ray, on a couple of different levels. One is the layoff for each team. For Bowling Green, they haven't played in 17 days. 17 days. And for Akron, it's been a 9-day layoff. We take a look at the standings. What tonight's game means is this. If Bowling Green wins, they would win the division with a win next week against Kent State. But if Akron wins tonight, Ray, everything's up for grabs.
It's up for grabs is right, Mark. And you know what? It's a big-time game because the winner here tonight will control their own destiny in the MAC East.
And what's important for Akron, they have their quarterback back, Kyle Pohl. He missed the last couple of games with concussive symptoms.
Yeah, and you see his record, 4-2 as a starter this year. He is a smooth operator back in the pocket, a great ball handler, extremely polished, got the big arm. But the best thing and biggest thing about him, at least according to Coach Terry Bowden, is he takes care of the football, and that's going to be important tonight in this inclement weather.
It is the top two teams in the MAC East Division. Bowling Green, Akron, the rain.
ESPN College Football Primetime is brought to you by State Farm. For auto, home, life, and banking, get to a better state. And Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, available now, rated mature.
Rain and wind certainly will be a factor, at least to begin this game tonight here at InfoCision Stadium in Akron. Just a short time ago, the head coach of the Zips, Terry Bowden, addressed his team.
Opening kickoff, that final whistle, we're going to go out there, and we're going to take it to them.
Sir.
Defense, stick them like they ain't never been stuck before. You stick them like they ain't never been stuck before. Offense, I mean, hit them hard, come out fast, and you drive them, and you drive them, and you drive them. Tonight's about team, man. It's about team. It's about each other. It's about brothers. It's about playing for each other tonight. That's what it's about tonight. Let's go out there and show them what it's all about. Let's go out there and show the country tonight. Let's show the country what Akron football's all about tonight. Woo! Let's go get them, man. Let's go. Yeah. Get up here.
Well, Dino Babers in his first season as the head coach for the Bowling Green Falcons, he inherited the conference champions. Of course, they won last year for head coach Dave Clawson, who went on to Wake Forest as their head coach. Well, Akron won the toss and deferred, so Bowling Green, wearing the white uniforms with the orange and brown trim, will receive to begin this game. And the Zips wearing the black for the second time here at home. Their colors are actually blue and gold. We do see the gold on the helmet, but they're going to wear the black unis for the second time.
Yeah, they wore them against Eastern Michigan, and it worked out quite well for them in that ball game, a 31-6 victory, so they figured they'd break them out again tonight.
Robert Stein to kick off, the junior out of Cincinnati, who strangely enough, his older brother Stephen kicked for Bowling Green up until 2012. Andre Gibbons, Ronnie Moore back deep to receive this Robert Stein kick, and we are underway from the 1. This is Andre Gibbons, and he's swarmed under at the 16-yard line. So Bowling Green begins with James Kanapke. Again, keep in mind, Matt Johnson was their starting quarterback to begin the year, injured his hip in the first game. Kanapke took over. Ray, they didn't know what to expect, but he has really performed well.
He has. He's grown each week within this offense, and, you know, against Indiana in his second career start, He threw the ball 73 times, had 46 completions. That's a pretty good indoctrination to college football, sitting back there and throwing it around. And that's what they like to do. We'll see if the long layoff and this weather tonight will change the tactics from this Bowling Green offense.
17 days since they last played, which left a bad taste in their mouth because they lost to Western Michigan 26-14 back on October 18th. Hands off to Travis Green, straight ahead up to the 25-yard line. So on first down, a nice run of 8 yards brought down by the weak side linebacker, Jatavis Brown.
And this Bowling Green offense is one of the fastest in the country in terms of the tempo with which they play. You see it on film. The opponent is often not lined up, and it's going to be interesting tonight to see how Akron deals with that speed. Now, of course, as I say that, they go into the freeze and look over to the sideline, which they'll do from time to time.
You said the word freeze, which folks may have the impression that since we're in Northeast Ohio, that it's cold. It's actually not bad temperature-wise, just windy and rainy. Handoff again, Green wrapped up from behind, maybe gets a half yard or so. Tackled by Cody Grice, and you'll hear his name a number of times because he'll also play offense. But importantly for Bowling Green is Travis Green, the running back, who is slow to get up on the play.
Travis Green is not only the leading rusher for this team, but also one of the leaders in terms of getting guys ready to go, kind of taking the fight to the opponent. He leads the charge for Bowling Green, and they can ill afford to lose him, not only with his running production, but his attitude and approach to the football game.
A second team All-MAC last year. Let's take a look at our impact players, and one we're going to highlight right here is Travis Green.
Yeah, and if he can't go, Fred Coppett's going to get a lot of that work. And then Roger Lewis, the true freshman receiver, has just been an incredible playmaker for Bowling Green.
Not putting any weight on the left knee. Let's take a look at the tackle. Once again, Grice.
That was one of those deals where Grice, you see it a lot on a horse collar type tackle where you're pulling a guy down and then land on the back of his legs. Now, Grice obviously didn't pull down or do anything with a horse collar, but he lands on the back of the legs, and that's why Green is getting helped off the field.
Green, who's been a big producer, 8 rushing touchdowns this year, has a TD catch. You know, he's somebody out of the backfield that is an important pass catcher for them as well.
Yeah, they love to empty the backfield, put him out on the edge, and when they do that, he usually becomes a primary receiver.
So that puts the focus right now on Fred Coppett, the number 2 running back. They're going to come out in an empty with a 3rd and 2. Kanapke passes, and that's incomplete at the 28. Ronnie Moore dropped a catchable ball there.
Yeah, and I think that's the first indication that the wet ball will have an effect on things out here tonight, because that was a nice throw from Kanapke, and Moore, he had the yardage to make, and the ball hit him in the chest, bounced off, wasn't able to reel it in with the wet conditions.
Joe Davidson, a redshirt freshman, on the punt, averaging 43 yards a punt. It does have a 70-yarder for his long this year. With Amani Davis back at his own 40 to receive for Akron. Kicking into the wind here, and a low line drive. Going to bounce just across midfield and is down at the 48-yard line of Akron. No question the wind a factor there, and the punt just a 27-yard punt. Quint Kesnick is down on the field for it. What's it like down there so far tonight, Q?
Yeah, well, it was a great day here. A fall day here in Akron has deteriorated dramatically. 6:30 it started raining. The wind's whipping pretty good, about 15 to 20 miles an hour, right to left across your screen. The rain, 2 areas of impact, obviously in the kicking game, the punters, the kickers, and the return men, and then Bowling Green's up-tempo offense. If the ball goes out of bounds outside the numbers, they'll try to get a dry ball. But if they continue to play within the hashes, they'll continue to play with a wet ball, which could be an issue.
Oh, great point, Quint. We'll have to keep an eye on that raid tonight, especially the possibility of a wet football. This is Huntley with the run, going right to the 49-yard line of Bowling Green. Connor Huntley, junior out of Hamilton, Ohio. The quarterback is back for Akron. Kyle Pohl, a head injury, concussive symptoms, missed the last 2 games, and they lost both those games.
Yeah, and one of the problems in losing that was turnovers. And the thing that Kyle Pohl has done a great job of is taking care of the football. Just 3 interceptions on the season.
Play fake. Here's Pohl rolling to the near side, looking, and will run it, and picks up about a yard or so to the 47-yard line of the Falcons.
Great defense by Bowling Green on this one. A little play action fake, the cross buck series that they get, and it was just covered up in the flat. Nice job taking that away.
Now, you mentioned the turnovers in their last game. They lost at Ball State 35-21. They led that game 21-6 at the half. They turned it over 5 times in the second half, Akron did, and had a punt blocked.
And 4 interceptions from Tommy Woodson, the redshirt freshman quarterback, who filled in for Kyle Pohl while he was out. Did a pretty nice job overall, except for taking care of the football late in that game.
Movement and a whistle at the snap.
And the finger pointing begins.
Yes.
False start. Offense, number 67. 5-yard penalty remains. 3rd down.
That's the center, Travis Schweitzer.
Yeah, and he leaned back a little bit in his stance before he actually snapped the football. And any kind of movement like that, that's going to draw people off sides and draw the attention of the officiating crew.
Schweitzer, who's a 4-year starter at center, tonight making his 33rd consecutive start.
And he's a real vocal leader, makes a lot of calls for this offensive front.
3 receivers at the top of the screen, and his 4 receivers set with Hundley the back. Gives it to Connor Hundley. Not much there. Gabe Martin comes up to make the stop for a pickup of just about a yard.
Martin, the leading tackler, middle linebacker, moved into the middle and played outside last year, 5th-year senior. He's the heart and soul of this Falcon defense, which has improved lately since they got DJ Lynch and Rylan Ward back into the lineup. They played pretty well over the last 10 quarters.
Both these teams known for their passing, and I think we've seen already early in this game, Ray, that the weather conditions affecting that. Here's the punt. Zach Paul, Burbrink, a very good punt returner, but with the wind at Paul's back, the fair catch made at the 12-yard line by Ryan Burbrink after a 39-yard punt with no return.
A journey to the next great championship in sports. ESPN is the home of the new college football playoff.
Well, with the rain tonight, a lot of the folks are using the cover from the second deck of stands to try to keep dry, but if that doesn't work, you just get the tarp out from the garage.
Yeah, pitch a tent out there somehow.
And it's not a driving rain, but it's hard enough rain with the wind that it's whipping around and is making for an uncomfortable night here in Akron, Ohio.
Yeah, thank God it's the, you know, not in the like upper 30s, low 40s. That would be miserable. As it is in the 50s, it's not too bad, really. And I say that with a roof over my head. I know Quint's down there, and he's suffering.
Well, both teams are 3 and out on their first possession. Here's Bowling Green with their second possession. And beginning at their own 11-yard line. Here's a pass, and it's completed at the 25-yard line. Gary Dieter, this is a guy who had quite a few catches early in the year, got banged up, has a catch there for 17 yards.
Yeah, started the first couple of games. Mark then got injured. They like having him back. It gives him a big receiver at 6'3", 204.
There's the first down of the game for either team. Here's Coppett running left, trying to turn that corner. Does advance up to the 40, so he gains 5 on first down.
I like Fred Coppett. You know, watching this team on film and preparing, he might be their best runner. Now, Travis Green, the starter, gives you a lot of other different things, but in pure just running the football, Coppett's pretty good.
And if you're just joining us, Green injured on the first possession, went off, not putting any weight at all on his left leg. This is Burbrink with the catch. Gain of 3 there, and a 3rd and short coming up here, 3rd and 2. Give to Coppett, and he has the first down. Breaks through to midfield and is tugged down at the 47-yard line of the Zips, brought down by the free safety Johnny Robinson. Quinn, you got more on the condition of Travis Green?
Yeah, he's been taken into the locker room by the medical staff to look at his leg right now. They're going to miss him as a receiver if he can't play. 23 receptions this year. He's a guy who likes to talk a little smack, too, and stir things up.
Yeah,
he does, and I got to admire that. Here's the play he got hurt on. Cody Grice, the nose tackle, came around and made the tackle. Watch him, he falls on the back of the right leg of Travis Green. and that's what caused the injury.
Second down and 10 from the 48 of the Zips. Here's the pass by Kanapke. Almost intercepted. It hit Dieter in the numbers, carried off, and it was almost picked off, I believe, by Okafor.
And here's the route by Dieter. As you see, just turning it inside. Good timing. I think the defense arrived just at the same time the ball did, and that's what broke it up as much as anything, as DeAndre Scott makes a nice play in that Zip secondary.
3rd and 10. Kanapke feeling the heat, just throws it away. And the pressure there put on by the free safety, Jerome Lane, as well as Martel Durant.
You had just a little inside move, and Logan Dietz, the right tackle, just got beat on the pass rush, and that forced the quick and errant throw from Kanapke.
Little grounding.
Joe Davidson to punt.
Quarterback is now outside the pocket. Even though the ball got to the line of scrimmage, there was no receiver in the area. Lost it down to spot a foul, 4th down.
Also, they did call intentional grounding on that. You heard the explanation.
Right, no receiver in the area whatsoever.
Don Willard, our referee tonight. So that's going to push it back even further. And again, he's punting into the wind here.
Yeah, the first one was not a pretty kick.
First one went for 27 yards.
And a line drive knuckleballer.
For a guy, Davidson, who came in averaging 43 yards per punt. Shanks this one off to the far side, and it takes an Akron bounce, and it is down at about the 33-yard line. Now the Buckeyes and Spartans will square off in a decisive battle for the Big Ten and the college football playoff race. Saturday Night Football, number 14 Ohio State, number 8 Michigan State, Saturday at 8 Eastern on ABC. You got any bones to pick with the two rankings for those Big Ten teams?
Well, you know, the Big Ten's not getting any respect, and you know, I think that, you know, I understand it, but I think those two teams are as good as any in the top 10. As you see J.T. Barrett, and boy, what a transformation in his game since that Virginia Tech debacle on September 6th for the Buckeyes.
The last punt by Davidson, just 23 yards into the wind, so Akron beginning at their own 34-yard line. Catch made by Pratt to the 43, and a pickup of 8 or 9 on first down.
Nice little slant route from the outside, and Pratt is getting a lot of respect from that corner. Now you see he's up there and he's impressed, but on that last one he got about an 8-9 yard cushion. 12th catch of the year for Pratt. There's a carry for Hundley, and he looks like he has the first down up to the 45 with a gallop there of 3 yards. Rylan Ward on the tackle, but Hundley is a really good runner in between the tackles. He keeps the shoulders square. He's got amazing feet. You'll see jump steps and hop steps and cuts from him where he'll change the upper body while the feet are doing the work down low. He's just really athletic. I love the way he runs the football.
He had a couple of first half touchdowns in their last game 9 days ago against Ball State. Going deep down the far sideline. There was a little bit of bump in there, but incomplete. The ball thrown over the head of L.T. Smith III, and Brian Sutton had the coverage.
I like Akron taking a shot here early in the ball game. You have to do something to loosen up a defense. And the Zips, and with Kyle Pohl, they like to take their shots. They also do a nice job with the back shoulder stuff. Pohl will, if that defender is even with his receiver, he'll throw back shoulder from anywhere on the field.
Pohl going to the far side again for Smith, and he has the catch and a first down at the 39-yard line. Make it the 40 of Bowling Green for a 15-yard pickup.
And they're just giving a lot of respect. And go ahead and run this one, fellas. And you're going to see just a max protect. They leave both backs in. Only 2 guys went out in the route. But over on the edge, Daryl Hunter gave him a ton of respect. He was way off the receiver.
31st catch for Smith this year. He's second on the team in receptions. Play fake coming to the near sideline. And Sconyers up to the 30, getting forward progress up near the 31-yard line for Keith Sconyers.
And you can see how misty it is. Kind of hard to see. It's actually the same play, but to the other side, where Akron is going max protection, leaving both backs in and just putting two guys out into the routes, working one-on-one on the perimeter.
See what they want to do on second and short here.
Take a shot.
Hands it off Hundley, and he's going to be dropped for a loss. Brian Thomas there for Bowling Green. Let's take a look at our impact players. Akron has the football, and of course Connor Hundley is going to be one of those two.
Yeah, he's the main guy carrying the football, although we'll also see Javon Chisholm. And then Zach Durazio is their go-to guy when they have to get something done in the passing game. He's extremely explosive with his run after the catch.
The team leader with 41 catches, looking for his first tonight. But second and 1 is turned into a 3rd down and 3, and Paul incomplete. Franchon Bickley, the intended receiver, and Rylan Ward, the free safety, over with the coverage. And it's 4th down. They're at that part of the field here, Ray, where 4th down territory?
Yeah, I think so. I definitely think so. I mean, punting with the wind in this situation, you're going to more than likely blast it through the end zone, and the way Bowling Green has to go against the wind, I definitely take this chance here.
Well, Akron's going to call a timeout. Think about this upcoming 4th down and 3.
ESPN College Football Primetime is presented by Jimmy John's Great Sandwich Delivery, and in part by Buick. 5 expectation-shattering models. Another reason to experience the new Buick.
Windy, rainy night here in Akron, and the Zips just used a timeout. Didn't look like they wanted to punt with the wind at their back. Decide not to go for it on 4th down. Now we'll use Robert Stein with the wind at his back to attempt about a 51-yard field goal. His long is 46. That came against Miami of Ohio. But with the wind at his back, why not take a shot here? Right?
Yeah, I like it. I think points are going to be at a premium if this first half of the quarter are any indication.
Stein out of the hold of Durazio, and the snap from Michael Buddenberg. Tailing left. He missed it. Well, gave it a shot, but worth a shot.
I definitely think so. You know, had it been 4th and a little closer, maybe you go for it. But as I said, scoring opportunities, the way it looks right now, you have to take them when you get them.
Let's check in back down on the field with Quint.
And out so far in terms of Bowling Green's offense, James Kanapke, their quarterback, throwing into the wind, really struggling to throw a tight spiral. And on 3 occasions, we've seen the wind just grab kind of a floating duck type pass and bring the ball down to the ground. The other thing that's interesting is 2 of their receivers, Ryan Burbrink and a bunch of the other slot receivers, are not wearing gloves, the receiver gloves, which is really unusual in this day and age of college football, especially on a night like tonight with some severe wind and rain. And we've seen 2 drops from Bowling Green already.
Hey, Quint, the field sits a little bit below street level. You feeling any kind of swirling winds at all down there?
It's mainly right to left, anywhere from about 10 miles an hour to 15 miles an hour.
Q, thanks.
Offense, 5-yard penalty, remains 1st down.
Well, Bowling Green can't get the playoff on time.
There's irony for you. One of the fastest tempo teams in the country have a delay a game. I think they're trying to get their feet under them right now, as Quint was talking about with this wind. The wind affects it a lot more than just the rain. That will blow up a passing game quicker than anything.
Hand off to Fred Coppett. Coppett, or about 3 yards. This kind of looks Halloweenish. I know we've just gotten past Halloween, but
well, that's what they're dealing with here tonight. And I checked the forecast, and it's supposed to rain all the way through the entire ball game.
Picked up 3, but they were playing behind the chains after the delay game. So 2nd down and 12. Keeping it on the ground with Coppett. He gains another 2, but took a hard hit from Devontae Morgan, the free safety. You know, the number of plays, pace of play, seconds per play, Bowling Green is right up there with anybody in the nation, even with Baylor.
Yeah, and well, you know, that's where Dino Babers learned this offense. He was with Art Briles back in the day, and he learned his lesson well. And they try to go as fast as they possibly can, but tonight it's a little different with the elements.
Dino Babers spent 4 seasons as an assistant at Baylor under Art Briles. There's a first down catch up near midfield for Garrick Dieter. They're getting him back in this offense after missing him for a number of games. Gain of 15.
Yeah, and you're going to see a nice little route here by Dieter as the coverage is giving him a little bit of respect. You saw the hips hooded and turned by the corner, DeAndre Scott. It's an interesting technique that they use at Akron.
Kanapke pulls it down. Nice catch by Dieter again, and to reach down for that on the run, and he advances all the way inside the 30 down near the 26 before he's tackled by DeAndre Scott. A 23-yard gain.
Here it is, and you see this is just a threaded pass perfectly right through a pretty tight window as the linebacker was closing in underneath. That was a nice throw from Kanapke.
Comes to the near side, finds Burbrink. He's down to the 11, and another first down. Bray Ford with the tackle, but a gain of 15.
And I think Kanapke's getting adjusted to the wind a little bit. He's thrown the ball a lot cleaner here in this drive thus far.
For the last 3 plays have gone for 15, 23, and another 15 yards. And a 1st and 10 from the 11.
Bowling Green likes to run the football once they get into this area of the field.
And do so with Coppett, who bangs his way forward to the 5, but a flag flies late. DJ Mizell bringing Coppett down, but it may come back. And our referee, Don Willard.
Holding. Offense, number 82. 10-yard penalty. Repeat. First down.
You got the tight end, Clay Rolfe, for the hold.
And Bowling Green will bring in a couple of tight ends in this area of the field, and they use Chris Pullman, 42, really as a fullback. And he did a nice job in leading that last play, but all for naught with the holding call. Now things change now that they're outside the 20, and you see they put the wide receiver group back in there, 4 receivers, and now empty.
Kanapke throws a strike, lost the football. Came out of the hands of Ronnie Moore, who got stuck by Jatavis Brown, and now the scrum's on. Who has it?
Oh, and they're fighting for it at the bottom of that pile, no question about that. It looked like Bowling Green had the first opportunity, and they did get it as Ben Stewart, the offensive guard, pops on it. But watch this hit right there from that man. Right there, Jatavius Brown's going to show up and blow up. That's a big hit. Put his face mask right on the football. Nice reaction in the zone coverage. There's a great look at it. That's how you tackle somebody.
Under 5 minutes to go in this first quarter. Falcons fortunate to keep possession. High snap, quick throw. Coppett able to snare it, but no gain. Maybe actually loses a little bit. Devontae Morgan on the tackle, and he did lose a little bit of yardage.
I'll tell you, had Coppett not bobbled that thing, he had a heck of a chance, because they got basically 3-on-2 out there on the perimeter, as Akron did not adjust when they motioned him out of the backfield.
Well, with Travis Green out, that gives Andre Gibbons an opportunity to play some more running back. And Green injured, leg injury on the first possession for Bowling Green tonight.
And it takes away their #1 receiver out of the backfield. And that's a play that they design and draw up and like to run for Travis Green.
Kanapke dumps it off, deflected! Almost intercepted. There were 3 black shirts there that had an opportunity to come up with that. Morgan, Bray Ford, number 7, Devontae Morgan's the one saying, had a chance.
And they've dropped a few in the last couple of games, and Chuck Amato, the defensive coordinator, lamented that with us. He said, you know, we'd have a lot more than just our 8 interceptions if we were able to hang on to the football.
So Tyler Tate into the wind, but a 30-yard attempt off the left hash, and he bangs it through for the first points of the game. So a 30-yard field goal for Tyler Tate, and it's the Falcons who score first in this MAC East showdown. Well, Ray, there's the National Championship Trophy presented by Dr. Pepper. It's here with us in Akron tonight. It's made of 24-karat gold, stainless steel, and bronze. Took 3 months to make. And you see the 4 laces there on top. They symbolize the 4 teams in the college football playoffs. That leads us to this rankings that has just come out a short time ago.
Right. In fact, just released this evening, and no change at the top with Mississippi State. Although I remind everybody they've got some tough games. They'll play Alabama yet coming up, and then Auburn will also have to play Alabama.
Of course, the trophy awarded on the field at the College Football Playoff National Championship January 12th of 2015. DJ Jones and LT Smith back to receive this kickoff from Anthony Farinella, who's had a 23% touchback rate this year, but he's kicking into the wind. He's only kicked 1 out of bounds this year of his 53 kickoffs. And see how this one goes. Gets a decent amount of leg into that breeze. And
that's pretty good considering the weather.
Yeah, taking it to 7-yard line by LT Smith. He's across the 30 up near the 33-yard line. Not a bad boot at all from Anthony Farinella.
Well, and Akron missed 2 opportunities to stop that Bowling Green scoring drive. They had the forced fumble by Jatavis Brown, and then that interception that they played volleyball with a little bit there. You got to capitalize on those opportunities, and now they'll come out and try to score with that wind at their back here for just a little bit of time that's left in this quarter.
Under 4 minutes to play in this first quarter. The 30-yard field goal for Tyler Tate, the only scoring on that last Bowling Green drive. A strike. They lost the football, but it goes out of bounds, and very fortunate is LT Smith. That ball must be a little more slick, even with the gloves on.
Well, it is slick. There's no doubt. With this kind of mist, the rain, it's not a hard driving rain, but that was a pretty good hit there by I.J. Barima, who he got his face mask on the football and knocked it out of the hands. But that throw from Kyle Polt was a wind cutter. Yeah, he cut right through it. That wind doesn't affect his ball when he throws it on a laser shot like that.
First down at their own 46. Ball hands it off to Hundley. A couple of yards, maybe 1 or 2. James Sanford, outside linebacker, coming up to make the stick on Hundley.
Yeah, and Sanford ran it down from the backside. Here, watch. You're going to see up over on this side, a guy's going to show up and run it down from the backside. There he is, and he just chases it down. They don't block him because they don't think the guy can get there. Well, that guy can. That's a heck of a play and closing speed.
Cole with the quick strike out to Smith, trying to get around that corner on the far sideline. He's out of bounds at the 47-yard line, a 5-yard gain. Does it take a little time, Ray, for a quarterback to kind of figure out the win? Probably by the time he figures it out, he's going to have it on his back.
Right.
All over again.
It'll change on you. And that's the thing with this wind, the way it's gusting, it's really hard to adjust to. You just have to, put a little bit more behind it, but, throw how you normally throw.
Zips trying to convert a 3rd down for the first time tonight, having failed on their first 2. And will fail on this attempt as well, off the hands of the wide receiver Andrew Pratt.
And that was another nice throw from Kyle Polt, who this weather I don't think has affected him all that much. I think the thing that affected that play was Hunter and his proximity to the receiver.
On the punt comes Zach Paul. Ryan Burbrink back at his own 8. Burbrink's a dangerous punt returner. You got to keep that in mind. He had a 75-yard punt return for touchdown in week 2 for Bowling Green against VMI. He's going to let that one bounce, and it goes into the end zone. They had a chance to down it inside the 2, but the 47-yard punt, and it's going to come out to the 20 with 2:22 to go in this first quarter. If it's windy and it's rainy and your football team is out on the field, just dance like a madman.
Yeah, that's one way to keep warm, right?
Now that's dancing. That's groovy.
Dancing in the rain.
We're not singing in the rain, but we are playing in the rain in Akron. This MAC East Division showdown. Bowling Green at 3-1 in conference play. Akron at 2-2. A Bowling Green win here tonight. They would need just a win against Kent State next week to secure the East Division for a place in the MAC championship game in Detroit. But if Akron wins,
that throws a wrench into everything. Because Bowling Green 1 loss in conference play. Akron 2. Everyone else with at least 3.
Coppin able to fall forward for a couple of yards, but he was hit behind the line of scrimmage. He was able to pick up 2 or 3. Cody Grice able to make the tackle.
Fred Coppin getting plenty of opportunity tonight, averaging 5.1 yards per carry. I love the way he keeps his shoulders square and finishes his runs.
Kanapke throwing out for Coppin. A little bit high, but catchable off his hands, and it's going to set up a 3rd down and 8.
And Coppin with just 5 catches on the year, and he's really not a receiver. And Bowling Green loves to throw to the back, and I think that's what they're going to miss with Travis Green out of this ball game more than anything. As Coppin lost a glove. Said, enough with this. He decided to throw the gloves away as well.
Kanapke's time running out, and he's brought down. Sacked back at the 21 by Jerome Lane.
That's the 2nd time tonight Lane has gotten pressure. And he's just been coming up and blitzing off of the edge. And he's gotten pressure both times with an inside move.
By the way, if the name Jerome Lane sounds familiar, his dad, by the same name Jerome Lane, played college basketball at Pitt and then in the NBA.
And they bring Lane in kind of as a pass rushing specialist. He's got a couple of sacks, 1 for a safety so far this year, but he's a defensive back.
Davidson, a low punt, but he's able to get a very fortunate roll. It's going to be down at the 35-yard line. Did that punt ever get more than 6 or 7 feet off the ground?
No, that was...
He did that little rugby. He's a left-footed punter.
He'll tell you that's exactly how he planned it right there.
That is a 43-yard punt. Down on the field, Quinn. It's more on that Bowling Green defense.
Yeah, it's interesting. You look at their numbers on the season, and they're not that impressive. And a little bit of that has to do with the fact that their offense plays so fast. But over the last 10 quarters, this group has only surrendered 46 points, and they're off to a pretty good start again today. A lot of that has to do with DJ Lynch in the middle and Ryland Ward, the safety, a senior who has returned from injury. So as this group has gotten healthier in the last few weeks, they've gotten better.
Any better or worse down there, Quinn, or just status quo?
Status quo. That punt, by the way, Davidson, 6'7", that punt never went over his own head.
Going deep. Flag caught. Andrew Pratt up at the 30-yard line of Bowling Green. This has the looks of a pass interference call.
And without a doubt, it's going to be a DPI, defensive pass interference. Hunter had the coverage, and he had a hold of the jersey.
Pass interference. Defense number 1. Result of the play is a completed pass. Their coverage decline. 1st down.
Daryl Hunter, the redshirt junior out of West Palm Beach. And then he took a seat here after that play, holding his left knee.
Man, I hate to see that. We haven't seen the turf really become much of a factor. It's the field turf, so it's used to, that's what it's designed for, so you don't have a slippery surface necessarily when you get this kind of weather. I haven't seen guys slipping all over the place yet.
This is the 6th season that Akron's been playing here at Infocision Stadium. Of course, for so many years, they played at the Rubber Bowl.
This is a beautiful facility they have put together here.
And Daryl Hunter, one of the starting cornerbacks, helped off the field. This Bowling Green defense that comes in allowing an average of 37 points per game to their opponent.
Yeah, that's 113th in the country, Mark, and then they allow 543 yards per game. That's 123rd. And as Quint just told us, though, they have shored things up in the last, say, 2.5 games. And it did help immensely getting Lynch and Ward back. But to lose now one of your top cover guys in Daryl Hunter, I can guarantee you Terry Bowden, who calls his own plays pretty much, although it's done a little bit by committee, he's going to go after that.
Pratt's catch goes for 34 yards. First down Zips with under a minute to go in the first quarter. They're at the 30 of the Falcons. Kanapke hit as he throws towards the end zone, incomplete in the direction of L.T. Smith. James Sanford, the one that able to put the pressure on the quarterback. Kanapke is Hunter on Kyle Pohl, that is. There's Hunter going to have the leg looked at.
Yeah, that's a lonely position, sitting on that trainer's table on a sideline during a ball game. Anybody who's been there can tell you that.
So on the offensive side, they lost Travis Green on their first offensive possession, and now Daryl Hunter, the starting cornerback. Pohl just shovels it on the fly sweep. Davis cuts it back inside to the 23-yard line for 7 yards. Amani Davis. I guess the beauty about that play, Ray, is if he drops it, it's just an incomplete pass.
Yeah, and that's why they do it that way instead of messing around with a handoff. And look at this. They got 2 running backs lined up over there to lead the way. So they kind of sent up an alert to Bowling Green. Hey, we're overloaded over there. We're coming at you. And it really didn't help much.
Second charge, timeout of the half.
3rd and 3.
30-second timeout.
They brought in Cody Grice and tightened up the formation, but we'll use a timeout.
Well, you bring Cody Grice in, and he's going to get the football. At least that's been the pattern.
But there's only 10 seconds left in the quarter, obviously. But Dino Babers is saying, was there too many guys on the field?
Yeah, he counted 12, I believe.
And the point I was going to get to, Ray, is the win. If you're going to kick a field goal here, if you don't convert.
Yeah, you'd much rather kick with the wind at your back.
Exactly. Well, playoff hopes are on the line when the Irish and the Sun Devils collide out west. College football presented by Kay Jewelers Saturday. Number 10 Notre Dame versus number 9 Arizona State. 3:30 Eastern on ABC.
Yeah, from what I understand, out there at the campus in Arizona State, they've got a tent city going on right now as students are in line to buy tickets.
All right, if they don't convert here, Ray, they can obviously go for it on 4th down, and the handoff, yeah, that's Grice.
That's one of the few times Cody Grice has carried the ball for no gain. Nice job by that Falcon defense bottling things up.
And it takes us to the end of the quarter, so they're going to switch to the other side of the field. And if they're going to try to kick a field goal, it would be into the wind. Or, of course, they have the option of going for it on 4th down.
Well, we'll find out what Coach Bowden wants to do.
Oh, the drama in Akron on a wet and rainy night in Northeast Ohio. 3-0 Bowling Green at the end of 1. We welcome you back to ESPN College Football Primetime presented by Jimmy John's. We begin the second quarter, 3-0 Bowling Green, but Akron will try to tie it here on the first play of the quarter with a 40-yard attempt, kicking into the wind this time. Robert Stein, who missed a 51-yarder with the wind at his back in the first quarter. Does he have enough? Yes.
And I was watching the flags on top of the goalpost as that kick was going through, and the wind kind of died down. I don't know if Coach Bowden has a direct line somewhere or what, but I think they got a little bit of a break on it.
The lefty.
See, it just dies past the crossbar. Good kick from Stein.
So a 40-yard field goal into the wind for Robert Stein has tied it at 3. Just seconds into this second quarter in this Mackey showdown. Again, the importance of this game, if Bowling Green wins tonight to go to 4-1 in conference, they would play Kent State next week. Kent State playing tonight at home. They are winless in conference play. If Bowling Green beats Kent State and wins here tonight, they win the East Division.
Right.
Akron wins tonight. They're 3-2. Bowling Green's 3-2. And you got Ohio, UMass, Miami. It's just a mess at that point.
It goes up for grabs if that's the case. Bowling Green won that MAC title last year, the MAC East Division, and looking to repeat.
Robert Stein kicking away. Givens and Kobe back deep, and with that win, he comes all the way up. And take it at the 15 and to the far side, going out of bounds around the 40. Was Andre Givens. 25-yard return for the junior. So here comes Kanapke in the Bowling Green offense. Kanapke 7 of 12 through the air raid, 88 yards, but really some drops. He could easily be 11 of 12.
Yeah, that's been a problem. I don't think it's affected Kanapke as much as it has his receivers. 3 pretty blatant drop passes thus far here as they run the trips into the sideline.
Kanapke gets the throw with the wind at his back for the first time tonight and fires a strikeout to Roger Lewis. You know, we hadn't mentioned his name yet, Ray. Here's the guy leading the team in catches. There's his 54th, getting his first of the night.
Yeah, and they had to get him involved at some point, and I think they realized that and said, all right, as soon as we get the ball back, we're going to throw him a quick screen and make sure he gets going in this ball game. And if you do it once, try it again.
And can't hang on.
That's the 4th drop pass of the night for the Falcons. And you saw him repeat the same play. That's part of an offense that goes fast. One way to be able to go fast, you just, one word, repeat or bingo is a word a lot of people like to use. Play it against Sam. Run that same play.
Bowling Green with 5 receivers with 20 or more catches. One of those is Travis Green, the running back, who's now out. That's broken up. And Lewis once again.
When Justin March was just waiting for Lewis on that underneath crossing route. He's seen that play before coming from Bowling Green on film, and he saw it coming there and had a pretty good collision with Roger Lewis. March, one of the leaders on this defense, in my opinion, the best defensive player they have, number 5, making his 32nd career start.
Kanapke sacked. Back at the 45 by Jerome Lane, his 3rd sack of the season.
And Kanapke does something interesting when watch him as he takes a snap. See how he leans forward and gets low? That's to give the secondary and the linebackers the impression that he's handing the ball off. He kind of disappears from sight, and that freezes them a little bit. They got to make sure he didn't hand that ball off, because when a guy does hand the ball off, he often drops like that.
Very interesting. I was wondering why he was doing that, Ray. You answered that. Just got it away. The punt by Davidson is out of bounds inside the 30. And they're going to mark it out, actually out up near the 32-yard line. 3-3 game early in this second quarter. Well, the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup continues at Phoenix International Raceway for the final race in the Eliminator round. It's win and clinch a spot in the championship. 8 nations battle, only 4 advance. Winner takes it all. Championship race November 16th in Miami. The Quicken Loans race for Heroes 500 in Phoenix. And there may or may not be some fisticuffs again at the end of the race. Now, it's not the Cuyahoga Falls.
I don't think so. And it's not center field in Kansas City either. That's the water running down the bleachers here.
By the way, I shorted safety from Akron, Jerome Lane. He has 3 sacks tonight.
Yeah, so 5 on the year.
5 on the year.
He's a pass rush specialist, and he's pretty special tonight.
So the Zips take over at their own 33-yard line.
Give her a couple options and stuff she can try to see.
Hold a throw on first down, going to the near side and going for Pratt once again, incomplete at the 40.
Nick Johnson, the true freshman in for the injured Daryl Hunter, did a nice job with this coverage. He's up in press, and you see him, he's just even with the receiver, and then he chokes it down and gets his eyes back a little bit, and that's so important. And that was one of those back shoulder throws I talk about from Kyle Pohl, where if they're even, he's going to underthrow it intentionally, knowing his receiver has the eyes on him and can come back and make a play.
Interesting, Ray. They tried to pick on the freshman right away on that first play of this possession.
I don't think it's the last time they'll go after him either.
Pohl dumps it off, and that's dropped by Chisholm. We see Jawan Chisholm now in the game for Akron.
Chisholm is their version of Green, Travis Green, on the other side. He's a really good running back, able to make all kinds of different plays, and a good receiver out of the backfield, although you wouldn't know it by that last drop.
Quickly a 3rd down and 10 for the Zips. The offense going into the win. Kyle Pohl brings it back down. Now is he going to take off or throw? He's going to throw and throws a strike short of the marker, and it's dropped regardless there by Pratt.
They tried to, excuse me, Mark, they tried to get a wheel route out of the backfield to Chisholm, but the protection broke down. He had to scramble and made a nice throw going against the grain. Hit another receiver right in the hands, and we have another drop. And I can tell you it's a lot to do with the conditions right now. Not necessarily the wind, but the rain and that soaking mist.
Pohl now 7 of 14 through the air, 91 yards. Zach Paul punting for the Zips. Burbrink calling for the fair catch, lets it bounce, and it's down to the 34 by Akron. That's a 33-yard punt for Zach Paul with no return.
ESPN College Football Primetime is brought to you by Cialis and Synchrony Financial. Banking, loyalty, analytics. Engage with us.
A rainy night in Northeast Ohio. This MAC matchup, ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Jimmy John's. Tied at 3, still early in this second quarter. Great to have you with us on this Tuesday night, along with Ray Bentley. I'm Mark Healy. Quint Kesnick battling the elements down on the field, as are these players. And I think a lot of it has been for the receivers more than the quarterbacks, Ray?
Yeah, I agree. 7 drop passes so far combined on the night. And whoever can overcome the weather is going to have the better chance to win this ball game. And that was a nice catch there by Ronnie Moore.
12-yard gain.
Excuse me, Mark. I talked about these drop passes. Take a look at them. And these are relatively easy catches to make. And normally these guys would make those plays. It's not happening tonight because of this inclement weather.
Well, they give to Pullman. They get the tight end H back into the mix, and a run of 5 yards for the 6'2", 260-pound senior.
They're somehow trying to find some sort of running game because neither team has been able to really get it going on the ground yet.
Right back to Pullman, who looked like something out of a cartoon. His feet were moving, but he wasn't advancing anywhere, thanks to C.J. Mizell, who had him by the shirt tail, and it's a gain of 3.
Like Freddie Flintstone there. But I think that's a good idea. Give the ball to that bigger back and let him pound away at it. Akron should maybe look at that and bring Cody Grice in, their big nose tackle who plays short yardage fullback. Give him some carries.
Give it back to him on 3rd down and 2, and a first.
He spit it up.
Who has the football?
Cody Grice.
Well, how about that?
Well, I said he ought to carry the football. He took it to heart, picked it right up. This is just a great job of coming after it and knocking it out. And you don't have a lot of carries for Pullman. He did cover it up, but he didn't continue to cover it up. When you're in traffic like that and getting hit, you have to put both hands on the football. You see him do it initially right there, but then he'll take that right hand off the ball, and that's when it gets torn and ripped out. It looked like it was on the backside that it got knocked out. Jatavius Brown, who forced a fumble earlier, forces another one, and
you got to look at the hair.
With a half a haircut, Grice comes up with it.
That is an awesome looking too. We may get another look at that later. Here's the run. Take it off. Goes Chisholm up to the 40-yard line of Bowling Green for 17 yards.
Well, we saw this formation earlier on the jet sweep, and now they run the counterpart to that and hand it off on a actual counter to Chisholm. He finds a nice big hole.
First down Akron at the 40-yard line of the Falcons. Trying to take advantage of a Bowling Green turnover. Right as the football got there, there was the defender.
Yeah, I.J. Barima comes in and knocks it out. I mean, this thing hits Scaniers right in the face, and that's just a drop is what it is. I'd love to give I.J. Barima credit because he made a nice play, but that ball was dropped flat out dropped.
Play clock still at 10. Get it off with 3. They rush 4. Wide open at the 30-yard line, and brought down there is Franchon Bickley.
That was a really nice throw from Kyle Pohl, and a nice play as far as reading it. He looked on the left side. He wanted something over there. It wasn't there. He came back and threw basically his second option on the play and just threw a strike.
They have a first down at the Bowling Green 29. There are 4 receivers, 2 on each side. St. Chisholm in motion. And Scodier's another drop.
Maybe he ought to throw them gloves away.
The guy who back in 2011 led Akron with 47 catches. I think he's top 10 all time in catches for the Zips, but tough goal made on this drive. Pohl's pass complete to the 21-yard line. Once again, it's Bickley, and he has a first down inside the 20. I.J. Barima had the coverage again.
And this is a great throw by Kyle Pohl. See how he steps up into the pocket. That gives him a little bit of momentum on the throw. Snaps it out there and throws another strike. And that's a difficult throw from the far hash across the way to an out route. They love to drag the number 2 receiver over on this type of formation. Trips into the boundary.
That receiver is Tyler Williams. And some miscommunication there in the end zone, incomplete. Amani Davis was the closest Akron receiver.
Great job by the Bowling Green secondary to reroute the receivers coming off. They got contact and pushed them off of their routes and totally disrupted everything.
Wind continues. The rain continues. Still 10:45 to play here in this first half from Akron. Tied at 3.
Run out of time here.
Down to 1, and they did get it off in time. But Pohl has to quickly throw. And intercepted in the end zone. Nick Johnson was there in the right spot.
And L.T. Smith III just was not on the same page with his quarterback.
And that's Gabe Martin, who is down for Bowling Green.
Here's a look at it, and you see Kyle Pohl expected Smith to continue into the end zone. He cut his route off, and that's a pretty easy interception there for Nick Johnson.
His team leading 3rd pick of the season, but the Falcons concerned for Gabe Martin, you know, arguably their best player on defense. They've already had several injuries tonight. 10:39 to play in a 3-3 game.
Right up at 3 here. Let's go look at that last interception. Right there is Smith. And when you have press coverage down in this area of the field, you're going to take this right up the field and keep going. But Smith chokes it down and runs a curl route and basically stops on his quarterback. And Kyle Pohl, he does what he's supposed to do, in my opinion anyway. You throw the deep ball against the press coverage. But you see the body language from Smith. He's like, oh, wait a minute, what happened there, fellas? Well, I think he went to the sideline and found out.
Pohl intercepted for the 4th time this year. That's the 5th red zone turnover of the season for Akron. Each team's now turned it over 1 time in this game. So the Falcons take over at their own 20 after the pick. It is a nice run for Coppett, who bounces off a tackler, and a run of 11 on first down.
Coppett keeps his shoulders square and is a north and south guy. And you see he got a really nice block from Alex Huddle, the right guard. He totally cleared his man out of the way.
Keeping it on the ground.
Well, that's that play it against Sam deal where, and they used to call it the 5-yard rule. If you get more than 5 yards on a play, keep running it until they stop it. And that's what Bowling Green's doing right now, as they repeat another successful play.
Thought you were just a fan of the movie Casablanca.
I like that too.
Did they play it again, Ray?
They did.
Third straight time. Jatavis Brown with the tackle that time. Pick up at just 3, so I guess it's time to call something different.
Yeah, now it's time to switch it up. If you got some play action off of that, maybe I'll roll that in there as you see the signals, the signalers from the sidelines from Bowling Green. Looks like they drew contact.
And it's a pushing and shoving there in the pit.
Yeah, from Pittman.
Yeah, Savon Pittman.
He's going to get an extra flag for the extra activity.
And it was 3rd and 2, so there's a chance here that Bowling Green could pick up the first down by a penalty.
Yeah, and that's why they went with that count, that hard count, try and draw them off. You know, the timing of those things, 3rd and anything short, shorter than 5, I should say, that's when you get a lot of hard count to try and steal a free first down.
Prior to the snap, offside, defense with contact. That 5-yard penalty results in a first down. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, defense number 90. That 15-yard penalty will also be enforced. First down.
Those are killers. I mean, being offsides is bad enough, but then to exacerbate it and make it worse. And you see 2 guys were drawn off by the hard count from James Kanapke, and then right there you can't do that kind of stuff, go to a man's head with a forcible blow like that. If it had been a punch, he would have been ejected.
Well, as is, it's spotted all the way up at the 41-yard line of the Zips. And a first down for Bowling Green. Gibbons is the back. Kanapke throws and finds his receiver at the 32-yard line. Roger Lewis right near the marker.
Nice timing on that route. Lewis was the second man in a little 2-man stack that they had, and then they separated. And Lewis just hitched it up to the outside. Perfectly timed throw.
2nd and 1 to give Andre Gibbons. He'll have the first down inside the 30 with a pickup of a couple.
Yeah, coming into the game, Gibbons is pretty much relegated to goal line duties. That's where he got a lot of his carries, but with Travis Green out, he's moved up the chart.
Kanapke fakes. Now he's going towards the end zone, but overthrows him and incomplete. There on the coverage was Devontae Morgan, the free safety for the Zips, and he was the closest to coming up with that football.
And if Morgan had seen the ball a little earlier, that would have been an easy interception for him. That was way overthrown to Roger Lewis.
Wind at his back. Play a factor at all?
It could have. It could have gusted and picked him right up.
Burbrink. Nice open field tackle. Chris Gibbons, the cornerback. He's a junior out of Ridgeland, Mississippi.
Nice read by Kanapke, the quarterback. The blitz came from that right side, or his right side. He saw it coming, and that's where you want to throw. Throw behind the blitz, because obviously they're voiding that area when they come from that area.
Bowling Green 2 of 8 on 3rd down tonight. Akron yet to convert on 3rd down, but here on 3rd down and 7. Was there enough contact for the flag? No, incomplete. Intended for Dieter. It was DeAndre Scott, number 6, that had him covered.
Kind of ran a natural little pick route there, and Scott was able to fight through the traffic and be close enough on his coverage to force a little bit of an off throw from Kanapke.
Well, Tyler Tate, with the wind at his back, will attempt a 45-yarder off the right hash and out of the hold of Kanapke. 1 for 1 tonight.
Akron playing safe against a fake possibility.
He connected from 30, and that one, he sneaks inside that right upright and gives the Falcons a 3-point lead.
Kind of drew it in there like a nice golf shot.
2nd of the night for Tate. He hit from 30. And he adds that one from 45. It's been a game of field goals so far at Akron.
A journey to the next great championship in sports. ESPN is the home of the new college football playoff.
Back here in Akron, 8:21 to play in this first half. Bowling Green 6, Akron 3. Bowling Green has a couple of field goals from Tyler Tate of 30, and he just connected on a 45-yarder. Stein is hit from 40 for Akron's score. And it's been that kind of night, Ray, with the wind and the rain. Which direction you're headed on the field has meant a lot so far, because we've seen nothing but field goals.
Yeah, and the drop balls have really stood out thus far tonight. Both sides.
Farinelli kicks off. The wind at his back. And taking a knee in the end zone is L.T. Smith. The Zips will begin at the 25-yard line. You like what you've seen from Kyle Pohl tonight, though? Yeah, I do. He's an impressive quarterback to me now. He's only hit 9 of 20, but he's got at least 5 drops by his receivers. That would change his math quite a bit. But I like his composure. He's so polished, his movements, no wasted movement whatsoever. And he makes good decisions with the football. I think the one interception he threw was really on the receiver, L.T. Smith, as much as anything. Zips going into the wind. Hold a throw on first down, and he has a man wide open, a little bit high, but again, a seemingly catchable ball. That one for Andrew Pratt. And you see the frustration on Pratt's face. He knows that's a ball that he's got to make a catch on. And normally you do, but not that time, as the ball slips right through his hands. In this kind of weather, you hate to tell a guy to do it, but I think you got to use your body a little bit to catch a football. Now, not on that one, obviously, but. Chisholm pulled down at the 29-yard line, a gain of 4. It's going to bring up a 3rd down and 6. You know, and back to that Pratt miss. He's not wearing gloves. And to me, that's a personal preference thing. It's what you're comfortable with. I did see tape on fingers, and I know that's helped receivers who don't like gloves. Still plenty of time on the play clock. This is where Coach Bowden is conferring with his staff, and together as a group they call plays. Smith. And falling forward, looks like he'll have the first down as long as he gets a decent spot, and he does at the 35. I.J. Barima with the coverage, but it is a first down for the Zips. Barima backed off at the snap, kind of bounced out of there, and that gave Smith a lot of room to make that catch and then gain the yardage afterwards. Cole slings it. And we haven't had Zach Durazio said his name much tonight. Oh, they finally get him involved a little bit, just running a little out route. And you saw him use the body to make the catch. He's their leading receiver this year. That's his 42nd catch of the season. That for 7 yards. I think they need to get him more involved. Now to Smith. Broke 1 tackle. Stood up a little shy of the first down at about the 44 with forward progress. Nick Johnson with the tackle.
3rd down, 1.
This is usually Cody Grice time, and he's 3rd and short. Doesn't look well. Yep, here he comes. Akron finally converted a 3rd down on this drive, so they're 1 of 6 tonight on 3rd down. Here's Grice, the junior. What are they listing at? 5'11", 284 pounds of fullback. Well, they pitch it, and Hundley does not get it. That's the first time I've seen them on film anyway do something other than give the ball to Grice with him in the ball game. I guess you got to change it up from time to time, but I give the ball to the big guy. He hasn't really been stopped yet, although earlier tonight he came up short on a 3rd and about 4.
So on fourth down, the zips the punt as the drive stalls near midfield. Burbrink back at his own 22.
Time and place for a fake, and Bowling Green is playing against it with their defense out there in a safe look.
Ball kicking into the wind, gets a high, nice boot into the breeze, and the fair catch taken at the 12-yard line by Burbrink.
Yeah, what wind, huh?
Yeah, that's a 45-yard boot, and a nice one by Paul. Well, let's take a look at this week's college football playoff rankings, brought to you by Capital One. That's a look at the top 10 of the top 25 released earlier tonight.
Yeah, and I don't see anything I really don't like in here. I think this is about a pretty accurate assessment of where we are at right now. A snapshot after 10 weeks of play. Mississippi State, Florida State, both undefeated. It's my personal opinion that Florida State is overranked, but it's hard to say that with them being 8-0 and a win against number 10 Notre Dame.
You got 6 playing 7, 9 playing 10 this weekend.
Should help clear things out. You also have Michigan State playing Ohio State.
A run straight up the middle. Coppett stopped at the 19-yard line.
Tackle number 9, Keontae Hollis.
And Travis Green injured. Bowling Green running back went off with a leg injury early in the game. Kanapke to Burbrink out on the edge, and he has the first down up the sideline. Powers his way up to the 35.
He almost dropped the ball when he initially tried to tuck it away. And one thing that Bowling Green does a nice job of is really spreading the field. I mean, those guys were lined up at the numbers and even wider. You saw him almost lose the football there. And Big Skin's a little slippery tonight.
Almost squirted out. 16-yard gain. First down from their 35. Kanapke slings again to the far sideline, and the catch was made by Lewis, but he was out of bounds. Incomplete.
One of the things I was just talking about, the way they spread the field, the width that they get, the outside receivers are almost, they're like a couple of yards from the sidelines. And now here's the corner, the technique I was talking about earlier, where they turn sideways.
Well, here's Coppett with a nice run up the gut. And a first down run up to the 48-yard line before he's stopped by Bray Ford. And wow, Bowling Green cannot afford this. Coppett.
He kind of got hit. I mean, that was a pretty good shot that he took from Bray Ford. Really solid open field tackle, and it collapsed his left leg inside. Watch the safety Ford. He's right up top here, and he's going to come up and finish hard. And you saw him just collapse that leg. Here's another real good look at it. That's a solid hit and an open field tackle. And the brunt of it all on the left leg of Fred Coppett.
Well, that leaves Andre Givens now, since Travis Green is out. We'll see if
find out who the 4th string running back is for Bowling Green here before long.
See if Coppett's able to come back. Here's Givens with the carry up to midfield, halted there by Jatavius Brown. Just a couple of yards.
And I think the team that figures out how to run the football here tonight is going to have a big advantage over the opponent, because throwing the football is a dubious proposition with the way guys are dropping it all over the place.
Kanapke puts it in the air and underthrows the intended receiver at the 45-yard line. Again, looking for Roger Lewis.
Boy, and DeAndre Scott did a great job of covering Lewis. He played off and then stuck his foot in the ground and had a really nice break coming back.
2 of 9 on third down tonight are the Falcons. Third and long here.
They like to throw to that number 3 receiver in the slot in these situations.
That's Burbrink. Across the middle, catch made, but short of the first down is Lewis, tackled at the 44. He needed to make the 42. It'll be 4th and 2. Is this a position on the field but they'll go for it.
I'm gonna punt this one. It looks like they're gonna go fast and try to get it. And there you see Brown finishing it off. Nice zone play from those linebackers.
Well, they went to the line, as you mentioned, Ray. Looked like they were going to go for it, and that forced Akron to call a timeout, their final one of the half.
And Coach Bowden did a nice job of using that timeout to make sure that his defense was set the way he wants it.
We'll step aside as well with a 4th and 2 upcoming for Bowling Green near midfield. Well, with 3:51 to play in the first half and a 4th down, they're going to go for it, Bowling Green, on a 4th down and 2.
If they try to draw them off sides like they did earlier.
Kanapke's pass low, and it is caught for the first down. Lewis make that Burbrink at the 41.
Now they want to go fast to make sure that doesn't get reviewed and looked at, but the officials have changed their minds on the field, conferred, talked about it, and switched that call up.
Yeah, I think the field judge had called it incomplete.
Well, let's take a look here. And yeah, that definitely hopped. That was a one hopper, short hopper. So they got the call right.
And they turn it over on downs to the Falcons.
And that's the danger of doing something, going for it like that near midfield, because it puts Akron in excellent field position with 3:45 to go here in this first half. But Dino Babers is not shy or afraid to go for it. You know, he's seen his offense execute in those situations. He puts a lot of confidence and trust in them. And then, of course, you got to rely on your defense if they don't get it.
Zips take over on their own 44 with 3:45 to play in the first half. They're down 3. A little bit behind Smith, and midfield incomplete.
And the drops continue to mount. And that's why I go back to, I think that whoever can figure out and become more effective in the running game is going to have the upper hand.
And it's been a battle of attrition running game for Bowling Green, with Green out and possibly Coppet out now. But we'll see how he fares and if he's able to come back. And on the ground here, you know, this is the guy that could be the difference here right now. Connor Hundley. He picks up a couple of yards, brought down by Gabe Martin.
And Gabe Martin back in the game, and well, he put a nice little shot on Hundley, closing that hole. Martin, the leading tackler for the Bowling Green team, coming into the night with 71 stops, and he patrols that middle pretty well.
As you alluded to, was shaken up a little earlier, but went off the field under his own power and back in there, administering some licks. Zips just 1 of 7 tonight on 3rd and down, and a 3rd and 7 here. Cole swings it out, and Hundley had it and then dropped it. That is a forward pass, incomplete.
It's ugly. Gloves, no gloves, tape. I don't think it matters a whole lot tonight as far as catching the football. That's a difficult proposition.
4th down, and the Zips to punt. Hall with a nice punt into the wind. His last punt. And Burbrink back at his own 10. Burbrink lost it. It's loose.
It looked like
Bowling
Green was able to jump back on it. Hervé Kobe right there making the play for the Falcons.
Well, hardly anyone can hang on to the football tonight, Ray, under any circumstance.
Well, that's what happens when that thing gets slippery. Here's Burbrink trying to bring it in, and that looked more like he took his eyes off it than anything else to me. And then Ajay Barima was bearing down on him and made a nice hit.
Like Kobe was able to get on top of that football. And the Falcons avoid what would have been a costly turnover on special teams at their own 10-yard line. With 2:41 to go, again, the only points in this game, a couple of field goals For Bowling Green's Tyler Tate of 30 and 45 yards. Robert Stein has hit from 40 for the Akron score. Givens running right, gets a nice block on the edge, but a flag at the 10 may bring this back.
Yeah,
it was a 13-yard run.
I think it's going to come back for a hold. Alex Huddle, the right guard, had his man wrapped up pretty good.
Holding. Offense, number 55. Penalized half the distance to the goal line. Repeat. First down.
While we get a moment, let's check in with the studio and say hey to Chris Cotter. Chris.
All right, Mark, while the officials mark that one off, I'll tell you what's coming up at the half. Trevor Maddich is going to join me. We're going to talk about the new rankings released, and Trevor's don't quite look like the committee's rankings. So we'll talk about the differences there. A couple of great games against ranked teams this weekend, including Ohio State and Michigan State. We'll break that one down for you coming up at the half. We'll see you then.
Look forward to that. Thanks, Chris. Now with that last penalty, Bowling Green backed up to their own 5, but now it looked like the Zips. Well, actually, it was Bowling Green that jumped again.
Yeah, Cody Grice is shot up in there, and he was drawn off sides. Coach Bowden weathering the storm. I'm wondering if he's wishing he was back up here like you and I in the warmth, as he spent 10 years as a television announcer.
On his 3rd season here with the Zips, keeping it on the ground and conservative. Cappy with the tackle.
If Coach Bowden had any timeouts left, he'd be using them right now.
He inherited a team that had won only 2 games in the 2 seasons combined prior to him arriving.
Yeah, he said the thing he had to do really was just build up the roster. Bring in some bigger, stronger, faster football players and then mold them into a team. His first year, just 1 win, got it up to 5 last year, including 4-4 in conference play, and at 4-4 thus far this year.
Gibbons again stood up at the 8 by Savon Pittman.
Coach Bowden talked to one thing his father told him. He says, this is how Bobby Bowden told his son Terry, here's what usually happens program stages when you build. You lose big at first, then you lose close, then you start winning close, and then you win big. And he said right now he's somewhere between 2 and 3 there, where the lose close, win close situation.
Well, he'd love to have a timeout right now, wouldn't he? We're under a minute to go. His first half, 3rd down and 12. Kanapke lofts it and incomplete at the 33-yard line for Burbrink, 4th down, and that stops the clock with 44 seconds to go in the half. And the Falcons are going to bring out the punting unit, and Joe Davidson's going to be kicking from his own end zone.
Gibbons did a really nice job on that play of passing off the receiver that was initially he was covering and picking up on that wheel route and making it impossible for Kanapke to get it in.
So Davidson to punt with 44 seconds left. Again, Akron no timeouts. Davis back in midfield to receive the punt. His long punt return this year for Davis is 34 yards.
This is a dangerous place to be punting in this type of weather.
And it takes a Bowling Green skip all the way back to the 35, and apparently he had made some kind of indication.
Yeah, if you make a fair catch, then it's over. You cannot advance it, even if you don't. If you pick it up on a bounce,
or if you wave it off. That's the same
any
thing.
signal like that, you know, and those punt returners are taught to give the poison signal where, hey, stay away, that ball's bouncing around. As soon as you give any type of signal like that.
Signal, therefore the ball is dead when possessed. First down.
That's what he said.
Yep, there's an
exactly what happens.
Any kind of signal and the returner cannot advance. Doesn't have to be the arm in the air. So with no timeouts and 36 seconds left in the half, Akron has the ball at their own 35-yard line.
You don't want to do anything crazy right here. It's not terrible field position, but you can ill afford any kind of turnover. we'll see what Coach Bowden and company have dialed up. And I say in company because he's on the headset with his staff, and he'll go around the horn. What do you think? What do you want to run?
On the delay, running straight ahead, Hundley to midfield. Don't have any timeouts, though. They will stop the clock to move the chains after a 17-yard run to the 48 of Bowling Green. Get the ball spotted and restart the clock.
And he just clocks it. I was talking about that play calling. A.J. Milwee is the offensive coordinator, second youngest in the country at age 26. He hooked up with Coach Bowden when he took over at North Alabama as a graduate assistant. And Coach Bowden called him Jimbo because Jimbo Fisher was a youngster who he kind of mentored coming up through. And A.J. told us that he thought his name was Jimbo there for the first couple of years at North Alabama.
Says Coach Bowden still calls me Jimbo occasionally, but he'll mix in A.J. Milwee's 26 years old. Only Utah's Brian Johnson at 25 is a younger assistant in the FBS.
Yeah, coordinator.
Coordinator, yep, and that's thrown out of bounds. Clock stop with 22 seconds left.
They're in range now where Polk can get it to the end zone if they want to go with any kind of Hail Mary type of play. You see Coach Bowden giving signals himself. And he makes everything goes through him. He'll make the final decision on what play is called. But if A.J. Milwee, if he feels he's got a hot hand on a roll, he'll let him go with it.
Hundley stopped at the 43, and with no timeouts and fourth down, they can let it run out here. And
see if Coach Babers wants to go where it's warm and dry.
Well,
they're going to get that Hail Mary I was talking about.
See if they can get the play off before the time expires, and it will run down to zeros. Look at the quarterbacks in the first half, and obviously the weather conditions an issue.
Yeah, and you know those percentages aren't very good, but you have to factor in all the drops.
Let's check in with Quint down below. Quint.
Coach, what impact are the rain and the wind having on the way you're calling this game?
Well, you know, we are basically a defensive football team and trying to manage the offense, don't make mistakes on offense, get the ball in their side of the ball, kick a field goal, try to do the right things, not make mistakes in weather like this. Both teams are having to play pretty conservative on offense.
If Akron's going to win this game in the second half, what's going to make the difference for your offense?
Well, we've got to make a big play. We've got to have a big play here, there. We've got to make a big play. Don't turn the ball over, make a big play.
Thank you, Coach.
Q, thanks very much. Bowling Green leading Akron here at the half, 6-3. Now let's head to the studio for our college football halftime report. In college football primetime, presented by Jimmy John's. Well, the wind and rain a big factor here tonight in Akron in this MAC East showdown between the Bowling Green Falcons and the Akron Zips. Just a 6-3 score as we get ready for the start of the second half. Quint Kesnick's been weathering things down on the field for us, along with Ray Bentley. I'm Mark Neely. How can these teams weather the elements here and catch a football?
Boy, you know, I think Coach Bowden said it best. Somebody needs to make a big play to kind of get things sparked and going. And the drops, 12 drops in this first half, you got to find a way to catch the football. I also think running the football is going to be a big part. Whoever succeeds in that will have the best chance to win this game.
Hey, Quint, what's Dino Babers, the head coach for Bowling Green, have on his mind for half number 2?
He's trying to stay positive, and he was really positive. I asked him about third down. I said, Coach, you're only 2 of 11. He goes, we did better than they did. They were 1 for 9. I asked him about the gloves, the lack of gloves from his wide receivers, and he said, you know, his receivers didn't like the tack on the gloves pregame, so he made them take them off. We'll see if there's any adjustment to his wide receivers in their quest to stop dropping the ball. And then the last thing, Coppett is going to give it a go for Bowling Green, but Travis Green is done for the day.
And it seems like the rain is a little bit lighter, Q? Maybe. That's through the end zone for a touchback. Well, he only had 9 total points in that first half, and Ray, there were a lot of drops.
Yeah, and that's really what stood out, I should say. I've been impressed with the quarterback's ability to throw the football in this weather. They've been able to put the ball on the money pretty much. They're just not getting a lot of help from their guys. Somebody's got to break it loose and make a play. Here's the turnover in the half. Really on the receiver, in my opinion, miscommunication there.
Each team had a turnover in the first half. Akron begins at their own 25. And I think the rain is letting up a little bit, but still raining. Hole on first down, puts it in the air and incomplete. Looking for D'Orazio, who's I think a target you'd like to see them go after a little more as we look at the first half numbers. You know, 219 total yards for Bowling Green. That's not terrible under these conditions.
No, it's not awful, but they have bogged down at the wrong times. And those third down conversions, I mean, combined just 3 of 20 here tonight. That leads to not a whole lot of points.
Connor Hundley lowers his shoulder, but only picks up about 3. Tackled by Gabe Martin.
Hundley needs to get it going. You know, he had the one little sign of life. He ran that draw for 31 yards in the last drive of the first half for Akron. But if he can get things started and rolling a little bit, that would be very beneficial to this offense.
Akron 1 of 9 on third down, and right away in this second half looking at a 3rd and 7. Cole has time. Incomplete, and even if that catch is made by Pratt, it's going to be a little short of the first down, but incomplete nonetheless, and a quick 3 and out for Akron.
One of the few times tonight Bowling Green has dialed up a blitz, and it forced Cole to leave the pocket and make a somewhat errant throw to the outside.
Back for the Falcons. It's T.O. Redding instead of Burbrink. Burbrink had a miscue trying to receive a punt late in the first half, and that punt into the wind short and will die at the 40-yard line. Is the 33-yard punt. Well, the Buckeyes and Spartans square off in a decisive battle for the Big Ten and college football playoff race. Saturday night football, number 14 Ohio State versus number 8 Michigan State, Saturday 8 Eastern on ABC.
Yeah, what a game these two have played last year in the Big Ten championship game. As you look at some of the rankings for the Michigan State Spartans defense, once again under coordinator Pat Narduzzi, having an outstanding season. But Michigan State, they were down 24-17 to Ohio State and then reeled off the final 17 points to win that Big Ten title game last year.
Coppin indeed comes out to give it a go, and he's up to the 45-yard line, tackled by Jatavius Brown, gain of 4.
That could give this Bowling Green Falcon team a boost if Coppin can get it going again, because he was really the only effective ground gainer in the first half.
Still battling and squirts free, and he's going to be close to a first down right in midfield. Alfonso Horner eventually with the tackle, and it is a first down.
That's the quarterback, Kyle Pohl, getting his ankles retaped on the sideline.
Loose ball, and back to recover it is Kanapke. It's really the first time tonight we've seen an issue with the snap, though Tim McAuliffe, the center, has had some issues in previous games.
And that one wasn't on him. That just went through the hands of Kanapke, and finally the quarterbacks are dropping the ball. Why not? Everyone else is.
That lost 13 yards. Bowling Green, which began with pretty good starting field position, now playing behind the chains at 2nd and 23.
Yeah, this is definitely behind the chains.
One of the few design runs we've seen for a quarterback. Jatavius Brown with the tackle, and now
that's why they lost Matt Johnson, their #1 quarterback, as you already chronicled, Mark, in the first game due to a hip injury, and it looks like James Kanapke just took a shot to the hip.
Well, Travis Green went out early in the game for Bowling Green, has not returned.
The backup for Kanapke is true freshman Cody Callaway,
who has played in 3 games this year and thrown 8 passes.
Here's the tackle. It looked pretty innocuous. Maybe it was the hit after that by C.J. Mizell, the other linebacker, kind of flopped down.
Is that a late hit?
Kanapke. I mean, you could. I'm going to say no. It looked like just a continuation of the play to me.
So Kanapke to the sideline to see if he can continue. So Callaway's in. Third game that he's now in this year. He'd been in 2 previously. To the 48-yard line is Coppett. Callaway is going to go right back to the sideline. It's 4th down.
Right, so they're going to bring the punting team out. We don't know if Kanapke would have been able to come back in or not yet.
Lonnie Davis back at his own 12-yard line. Davidson with the wind at his back. So here we are playing in the 3rd quarter. That means that Akron will have the wind at their back in the 4th quarter. We'll see if that is a factor in this game. Davis at the 15. Returns at about 9 yards. Akron to begin at their own 24 when we return here early in the 2nd half in Rainy, Ohio.
A journey to the next great championship in sports. ESPN is the home of the new college football playoff.
Well, the trophy that will be awarded on the field at the College Football Playoff National Championship January 12th is here tonight. The championship trophy presented by Dr. Pepper here in the rain in Akron. And with all the concern with head injuries, there's the protocol that players go through if there's a possible head injury. And we certainly saw Kanapke going through that on the sidelines. The way he was reacting and smiling, I think he's okay in that regard. But we'll see, because Callaway has still been throwing and getting loose on the sideline. Meanwhile, for Akron, Pohl comes back onto the field with the Akron offense.
I'm wondering if they're giving any consideration to bringing in Tommy Woodson, their backup quarterback, who played in the 2 games while Pohl was out.
Big strike to Tyler Williams, tackled at the 28. And I think you're referring to the fact not so much that they want him for his arm, a kid who's had the interception problems recently, but that he can run out there on a wet night.
And that could come in real handy in this type of weather situation.
There's Thomas Woodson, the redshirt freshman who started the last couple of games at quarterback. When Pohl was out with the head injury and concussive symptoms for Akron. Give us to Jawan Chisholm. Run down by Gabe Martin. Just a gain of 1 or 2.
Well, Martin's a stud in the middle. Not a whole lot gets by him. And he's a solid tackler, big, strong linebacker. He fended off of a low cut block on that last play and regathered himself to make the stop.
He tore his ACL last year in the Toledo game. Bounced back from that. The Toledo game was about 3/4 of the way through the season.
Yeah, and I've been through that myself. And you just feel better and better the more you're out there after coming back from those.
Low, caught by Sconiers, but on his backside.
One of the first times we've seen guys slip tonight.
4th down. Well, you got 2 teams. Akron averaging about 23 points per game from their offense. Bowling Green, though, been averaging about 34 a game. Yeah. But tonight it's been a game of field goals. Tyler Tate's hit from 30 and 45 yards for Bowling Green, and Robert Stein a 40-yarder for Akron.
When we talked to Coach Bowden, he said if we can hold Bowling Green into the low 30s, we have a pretty good chance. Well, I don't think he expected a monsoon.
Seems like it's getting a little bit better. The rain is falling. The wind doesn't seem quite as hard. When Kesnick down on the field could give us a much better idea of exactly what's going on down there. It's a short punt.
You might beg to differ, actually.
Down at the 43-yard line. So
not sure what Phillips was doing. Looked like he's having fun down there, though.
30-yard punt into the wind.
Just did a little knock it out of bounds and do a somersault. Why not? You're wet anyway.
Well, Bowling Green will take over. This is a team that has a win over a Big Ten club this year. They beat Indiana week 3 of the season. Indiana actually came to Bowling Green, Ohio. And Kanapke found Ronnie Moore for a 40-yard touchdown. Kanapke threw for 395 and 3 TDs. He hit Roger Lewis with just 9 seconds left. And Bowling Green won 45-42. Indiana the next week went to Missouri and won. Now they haven't won in conference play in the Big Ten, but still not a bad win for the Falcons. And a win here tonight would really put them in the driver's seat of the MAC East Division.
And Dino Babers told me this week that that was really a kind of a seminal moment for this year's football team, when he thinks the guys really came together and realized that he wanted to be there, was there for them, on their side. He felt that was a big moment for this ball club.
Kanapke is going deep. And incomplete at the 10-yard line for Lewis, with Gibbons on the coverage. The way Lewis slowed down, and well, that's because of the hobble. I thought maybe he was reacting, making an adjustment to the football, but it was still over his head.
Yeah, I don't know if you're right. He did kind of choke it down a little bit at the end here. Let's see if we can catch anything on it. But I think it's kind of hard to run looking back up over your head and your shoulder. That probably slowed him down as much as anything.
Kanapke rolling out, and he is going to throw incomplete at the 47-yard line for Burbrink.
And that's one thing Bowling Green does. Part of their arsenal is rolling the quarterback out, moving the pocket, and working just one side of the field. And not effective for him in that case. Good coverage again. And we have been talking a lot about the drops and the misfortunes on offense, but both these defenses have been playing well, and that is the calling card of this Akron football team, their defense. And then Bowling Green had the #1 defense in the MAC from last year, and 6 guys returned. So you got 2 historically good defenses.
6th punt of the night for Joe Davidson, and this time with the wind at his back, boots it inside the 10, and it's going to be down there. So for Davidson, a 44-yard punt, pinning in Akron inside their own 10-yard line.
ESPN College Football Primetime is brought to you by Constant Contact, helping small business do more business. And Nissan, premier partner of the Heisman Trophy.
A battle for first place in the MAC East from Akron, Ohio. Bowling Green up 6-3 on the Akron Zips, and this game has been defined by just brutal weather. Although right now it appears that the rain is subsiding a bit, and the wind is still gusty, although not as strong, Mark, as it was in the first half. As I say that, all of a sudden it gusts, so I think it remains unpredictable. Both these teams checked in about 18 footballs to start this game. They have dry and fresh footballs to start this third quarter, but the big challenge has been for these ball boys to keep the balls dry. We've seen dozens of drop passes.
Well, it has been some night. The only fortunate thing, it's not about 15 or 20 degrees colder. Then it would be
yeah, then
maybe snowing.
That would be miserable.
Well, Akron beginning at their own 9-yard line. High snap, loose. This could be a safety or a touchdown, and Bowling Green recovers for 6.
That's Taylor Royster. The 5th-year senior jumps on the football and gets it done. That's the big play Coach Bowden talked about, but not for his team.
3rd fumble recovery this year for Taylor Royster, and this one comes in the end zone and a huge touchdown.
Yeah, and you see the snap got on Kyle Pohl just a little quickly. It wasn't excessively bad up around his face, but he just couldn't get the handle on it.
35, James Sanford helped push him into the end zone and kept him from recovering perhaps at the 1, and allowing Royster to recover in the end zone. So the point after makes it a 13-3 game. And I was just about to say, Ray, whoever can score a touchdown in this game, it will almost seem like 2 or 3 scores.
Well, unless the ball continues to stay wet and get dropped, it could go either way. I've seen games where points come all over the place because the ball is changing hands and being dropped and that kind of thing. So who knows? Maybe that just took the lid off of it. and this thing will open up a little bit.
Well, second turnover from Akron and 10 points off the 2 Akron turnovers tonight for the Falcons. You see the 11 fumbles recovered this season, which ranks pretty highly, top 6 in the FBS. 3 of those for Royster.
And that's, you guys, you got to be in the right spot to make those plays. So give Royster some credit.
We were just hearing from Quint down on the field about wet balls, dry balls, trying to keep it a playable football on the field.
It's been a challenge.
It's going to be brought out by Smith. Tripped up at the 27-yard line. Now let's check in with the studio and say hey to Chris Cotter once again. Chris.
All right, Mark. Ray over on ESPNU. Toledo at Kent State. Logan Woodside not having a difficulty himself scoring points. Here's third touchdown pass of the night. This one to Keyshawn Wiltshire. It's all Rockets at Dick Stadium, 30-7.
Thanks so much, Chris. And if Bowling Green wins this game, they will play Kent State next week on Wednesday night, and a win would give Bowling Green the East Division crown and set them up quite possibly with a matchup against Toledo. And ironically, they play Toledo in the regular season the week after they go to Kent State.
That will be interesting. The MAC West is also, Toledo's on top right now, but there's some good teams over there as well. How about that Western Michigan football team, the PJ Fleck, and what they've done in this turnaround year?
The pass towards the 25-yard line, it's incomplete. Looking for Pratt. I don't know, Western Michigan, would they be the surprise team in the MAC this year right now?
Without a doubt, in my opinion. You've got Northern Illinois and Western both with just 1 loss sitting there, and then Central and Ball State still not out of it with 2 losses. But Toledo right now has command of the whole situation.
Pratt did make the sliding catch on that last pass attempt, so it's a first down from the 36-yard line. And Cole going down the sideline. That ball hangs up and is picked off. Nick Johnson, his 2nd of the night and 4th of the year.
And Nick Johnson's getting a lot of this play time because Daryl Hunter went out with an injury earlier. And really, this is the quarterback, Cole, giving his receiver a chance to make a play. He throws it, underthrows it because they're even. And that becomes time for Andrew Pratt to make sure if he don't catch it, nobody does. You got to kind of turn into defense from offense there. And you saw him try to get it away from Nick Johnson. But Johnson, pretty sure-handed defensive back, made a nice play on the football.
3rd turnover now for Akron. 2 in this half already. I'll tell you what, that true freshman is not playing like a true freshman, Nick Johnson.
Now, week 11, there's really not a whole lot of true freshmen left.
Run here for Gibbons, who is down to 38.
It's like Bowling Green has kind of taken control of this situation with the 2 takeaways. That will make a difference in a low-scoring ball game for sure.
Back to Gibbons, who tries to make a move to the outside and does so. Inside Akron territory all the way to the 43-yard line. Brown with the tackle, but not before. Andre Gibbons scoots down that far sideline for 19 yards. And now he's hobbling. And
Brown's a pretty often he's a sure tackler, but just a little bit of a overrun. Lost his leverage on that one, and Justin March saved the day.
Coppett does come back. Has the carry here to the 42. And Bowling Green very fortunate they didn't cough it right back to Akron there.
Keontae Hollis makes a nice play in the middle of the line there to stop that basically for no gain, putting Bowling Green behind the chains at 2nd and 10.
Kanapke throws down the sideline for Lewis and just led him a little bit too far. Knocked the pylon over, but Lewis had a step or so on his defender.
Yeah, I think the wind lifted that ball up a little bit at the end. It's kind of playing havoc with it when you throw the deep one. It looked like that one had a 2nd stage booster rocket on it.
3rd and long here for the Falcons at the 42-yard line of Akron. Straight ahead and a first down. Coppett makes a move. Now gets a block. All the way to the 13-yard line there. The run for Coppett at 29 yards. And he's bounced back well after leaving the game with an injury.
Check this out, Mark. You got both of these guys pulling. It's the OT play. And you don't see that very often with just the 5 offensive linemen because you worry about people coming off that backside from where those guys pulled. But it was called at a perfect time, and they blocked it to a T.
Burbrink out in the flat. Makes his way forward to the 5-yard line. Tackled by Jatavis Brown.
Akron's got to do something at this point to stop this momentum and stem the tide, because Bowling Green's taking control of this football game.
Yeah, they desperately need to keep him out of the end zone here. At least a field goal try, but Kanapke, he left earlier after his designed run. That was not a designed run. And down there at just outside the 5.
He does not really desire to run the football. He is a throwing quarterback. And watching him on tape, he slid pretty much every time he had the opportunity to run. I don't even recall seeing a called run for him. He'll take it off on a scramble from time to time, but that's not part of their arsenal.
3rd and 3. They can get a first down without scoring, and Coppett keeping the feet moving, might find the end zone, and comes up just a little bit short.
That's great drive from Fred Coppett. At just 5'9", 189. He showed some real strong leg power. But I think he got in. Now, we'll take another look at it. But to me, I thought he scored.
Regardless, it's going to be 1st and goal.
Check him out, kind of working his way. He hits Justin March, who's a much bigger man. The knee went down. Hard to see from that angle. I think they probably got it right.
Go to that jumbo package, Pullman, and then there's movement.
False start. Offense, number 55. 5-yard penalty. Remains 1st down.
Alex Hunnell, the right guard, moved early, and now that makes the call of not getting in the end zone seem a little bit bigger.
No doubt. But Bowling Green stays with the big personnel as they have big number 90 in there playing fullback.
Holman fighting and not much there.
And I don't see a 90 on the flip card or the roster. I don't know where they pulled him out of, but he's a big kid. It's Hunter.
So it's 2nd down and goal.
That's Ryan Hunter, who wore 68 previously, backup offensive tackle. They switched him to 90 so he would have an eligible number, as he doesn't play a whole lot on the offensive line, but comes in on the goal line package to play that fullback spot. And does a nice job. I guess he would be the Bowling Green version of Cody Grice, except that Hunter doesn't carry the football.
Offense, number 53. 5-yard penalty. Remains 2nd down.
Well, that one on Logan Dietz, the right tackle, and after having 1st and goal from inside the 1, they're going the wrong direction here. But exactly what the Akron defense needs is a stop and a field goal attempt.
Right, and then they're getting help right now from Bowling Green. 2 false starts from basically the 1-foot line. Kind of changes this whole scenario.
How about Coppett with a career-high 112 tonight?
And when they needed him, getting an opportunity with Green out, taking full advantage of it.
Brown comes around to make the tackle of Coppett there for just a yard.
And Brown's been all over the field tonight. Jatavis Brown, an all-MAC performer. I think really good inside linebacker in terms of his diagnosing the run and then getting there in a hurry and in bad humor.
On 3rd down and goal, Kanapke dangerous into the end zone, touchdown. Lewis His 4th touchdown catch of the year. That pass seemed to weave its way through a couple of black shirts in the secondary and somehow found Lewis for the score.
And Lewis just beat his defender inside, right off the mark. He got inside of Givens, and when you get that step inside, that's an easy throw for the quarterback.
Tyler Tate's extra point. Nice play by Kanapke there. Was not a great snap to get it down, and they get it through. And it's 20-3. Well, Ray, you're right. The points are starting to come in bunches, but all for the Falcons. Celebrating its 10th year, sponsoring the Good Hands Field Goal Nets. Allstate makes contributions to participating universities' general scholarship funds for each field goal and extra point kicked. Since 2005, Allstate has contributed more than $3.6 million in scholarship funds. 17 points off 3 Akron turnovers now for Bowling Green, and they lead 20-3.
Roger Lewis, after scoring a touchdown, going to get a few miles in. Stay loose on that sideline. How do you stay loose in the stands? Get a little dancing going.
Well, now the Akron offense, the onus is on them after Kanapke taking advantage of the Zips turnovers here in this 3rd quarter to open up a 20-3 lead for the Falcons.
Kickoff for Bowling Green.
Anthony Farinella, the junior out of Woodridge, Illinois, kicking off with the wind at his back. Over the head of Smith. I think the wind has picked back up a little bit.
Yeah, it has.
Well, now we'll see what Akron's offense is made of. They'll begin from their own 25. Now down by 17 here quickly in what was a 6-3 Bowling Green lead at the half.
And they're going to have to do something to try and generate a big play, as Coach Bowden talked about. I don't know if you reach into the bag of tricks at this point or what you have that you haven't rolled out yet. But they need to do something, as this one's getting away from them.
Hold's pass is completed at the 35-yard line to Smith. A quick gain of 10.
Bowling Green dialed up a blitz there, sent DJ Lynch in, got picked up nicely, gave Cole time, and he was able to deliver the pass.
Rolling out, Pole just throws it over the head of Smith. No play for 2nd down.
Yeah, he really had nothing there. Great coverage in the secondary from Bowling Green. He just had to throw that one away.
Terry Bowden's play calling down 17 now with a little over 4.5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Chisholm to the 37, just a yard on that.
And DJ Lynch, it was 7-on-7 right there. Lynch number 7, Chisholm number 7. And Lynch did a great job of keeping his leverage, as that was really a drastic cutback by Chisholm. Thought he saw something on the backside, but disciplined defense stayed home and stopped it.
3rd and 9. Cole throws across the middle, and a 1st down catch by Tyler Williams at the 49-yard line. I.J. Barima defending, a gain of 12.
Bowling Green just rushed 3 on this, and there's a lot of white jerseys in around there. That was a little window that Pole was able to stick it into.
Keeps the drive alive for the Zips. Pole to the near sideline, and stepping quickly out, Durazio.
Looks like Cole has gotten himself into a little bit of rhythm here on this drive.
Gain of 11, another 1st down.
don't know if it's too little too late, but there's plenty of time left in this ball game.
I'll tell you what, a touchdown on this drive could make things a lot more interesting, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Clock rolling, just over 3.5 minutes to go in this third quarter. Finds the open receiver again, D'Orazio, and that's a name I think we probably didn't mention enough for Akron fans in the first half. He didn't have many opportunities.
Well, that's the thing. I did say it. They need to get him more involved in the offense, target him a little bit more.
He gained 9, 2nd and 1. D'Orazio in the slot on the near side, a handoff this time, and the first down run inside the 25 for Hundley, tackled by Kendall Montgomery.
They have a little sense of urgency now for this Akron Zip football team, and I think it's helping them playing in more of a rhythm rather than the stand around, look over to the sidelines that we saw repeatedly through the first half. Now they're going a little faster, a little more tempo, and they have a rhythm to them.
Going on first down, dangerously incomplete. E.J. Lynch there in the vicinity of the pass. Charlie Walker was the one going after the quarterback Pole.
Yeah, you're going to get pressure on Pole, but it's a screen, so they let these guys through. Hundley was sitting over there, but Pole had to throw it away from him and into the ground because there was a Bowling Green defender who read that screen and took it away.
Pole took a little hit there from Walker as well.
Now they go back to that freeze check with me, see what they dial up.
Play clock's at 3. Get the play off in time. And Pole is going towards the end zone. Spinning, incomplete. The intended receiver was Pratt. And I think Pole thought he had him there.
Yeah, he did. He thought he had him. A little frustration from Pole. Here you see it right there. And Pratt kind of choked that route down. Had he just continued to run, that's going to be a touchdown. And Kyle Pole saying, what do I got to do?
Now he needs to convert on a 3rd and 10 to keep the drive going. And Akron has not been very good on 3rd down tonight. 2 of 12. Incomplete at the 20 for Smith.
That's your guy, Nick Johnson,
once
making
again
another play. You know, once they slowed down the offense and started looking over again, it stopped the momentum and their rhythm.
Now 4th down.
Well, you kick a field goal, you get yourself to within 14 points. Make it a 2-score game rather than 3. And so that's what you have to do in this situation.
Kicking into the wind here. A 40-yard attempt, lined up just about middle of the field. Stein, 1 for 2. He's missed from 51 with the wind at his back early and made one from 40. At about the same spot.
Sounded like it got tipped a little bit, but
and it comes up short. I think
it
you're right.
did. I think Brian Thomas got a hand up and tipped it. Take a look at the penetration right there is Thomas. Yeah, he did. He shot right through that gap with a powerful rip move and blocked the field goal.
Well, the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup continues at Phoenix International Raceway for the final race in the Eliminator round. It's win and clinch a spot in the championship. 8 nations battle. Only 4 advance to the winner-take-all championship race November 16th in Miami. The Quicken Loans Race for Heroes 500 at Phoenix Sunday at 2 Eastern on ESPN, and watch ESPN.
That was a huge play by Brian Thomas there. Blocking that field goal.
Keeping it a 3-score game. Carry by Gibbons to the 24-yard line.
We talked to Kim McLeod, the defensive coordinator for Bowling Green, who was a secondary coach here at Akron back in 2011. He said that Thomas was his best pass rusher. He's a pretty good field goal rusher, too.
Gibbons stopped by Johnny Robinson there. A win tonight for Bowling Green, and things would really have to go south for them for them not to win the East Division. They could clinch it with a win next week against Kent State if they win here. Trying to repeat as conference champions. Of course, won last year and went on to the Little Caesars Bowl and lost to Pitt. Nobody there, and an incompletion, 4th down.
And the last MAC East team to repeat was Miami back in 03 and 04. So Dino Babers has got his team on the right track to get that done. Came in from Eastern Illinois, where he, most notably his quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo, who was the #2 draft pick for the Patriots.
Right.
Get a good player like that, and that makes you a pretty smart coach.
Bowling Green has Chris Jones, second-year player with the Patriots. He was key defensive player for them a few years ago. Down there at the 24-yard line. Let's check in again with the studio. Here's Chris Cotter.
Over on ESPNU, Kent State's Nathan Strock. That's the nephew of former Finns QB Don Strock, finding Casey Price here. Kent State failed on the 2-point conversion, though they trailed by 10 to the Rockets. Early 4th over on the U. Guys?
Yeah, thank you, Chris. Talking about the legacies, the Strock. You know, they've been some great quarterbacks in the Mid-American Conference over the years.
No doubt. You know, you look at Ben Roethlisberger and what he's done the last couple of weeks. 6 touchdowns 2 weeks in a row, and got some other names that, you know, Charlie Batch is one that comes to mind. And MAC has produced some good quarterbacks.
From the 25. Bolt finds the open receiver, Sconyers. Has a first down to the 36. Tackled there by Gabe Martin. You mentioned Roethlisberger, who played with the Miami in 2001 to 03. How about Charlie Batch, Eastern Michigan? And remember when Marshall was in the conference with Myra Leftwich and Pennington.
A couple of good ones there. And I think Kyle Pohl has a chance to be that next MAC quarterback that plays in the NFL.
Hung on to that time by Franchon Bickley. He's a guy who had a couple of catches in the first half, Ray. We were talking about at the intermission that, hey, there's a kid who was hanging on to the football early.
Right. Some guys can catch it when it's wet, and some guys struggle. And Bickley showed that he could catch it, but now he's had to take himself out of the ball game limping after that play.
Pohl to Hundley. And a first down almost to midfield. For a gain of 8. Upended there. But we'll move the chains.
And this is a nice read by Kyle Pohl, as he dumped it off to Hundley after the blitz was coming from that side. And so the man with coverage on the back was the safety sitting 10 yards deep in the defensive secondary. Gave him plenty of room to run after making the catch.
Pohl delivers a little low and incomplete for Pratt.
DJ Lynch on the perimeter with the coverage disrupted that route from Pratt. I think that led to the errant pass and the incompletion. DJ Lynch has had an impact in just his second game back from the injury, missed 5 games.
Leaves just 4 seconds remaining here in this third quarter. On the delay, Hundley up to the 44, leaving him just a couple of yards shy of the first down after a run of 7. But it takes us to the end of the third quarter, a quarter dominated by Bowling Green thanks to a couple of Akron turnovers. Royster recovered a fumble in the end zone. Lewis added a 10-yard TD reception. Headed to the 4th in Akron. It's 20-3 Falcons. Welcome back to ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Jimmy John's. Great promotion here in Akron tonight. They gave away free tuition for the spring semester upcoming to 4 students. There's one of the winners. And the students seem kind of happy, Ray, but I think the parents home, when they find out, are going to be the really happy ones.
No doubt. Put them on scholarship for the spring semester.
Into the fourth quarter. It was the third quarter dominated by Bowling Green. A third down and 3 here for Akron to begin this fourth quarter from the 44-yard line of Bowling Green. Cole has to get rid of it quickly, and the first down saving stop, just a gain of 1 as Ryland Ward, the free safety, came up and delivered the hit.
That was a nice stick from Ward, who we've talked about it. You see the pressure coming from Lynch, who was out injured, and then the tackle made by Ryland Ward, who had been out injured. Those two guys coming in together really gave this Bowling Green defense a boost.
4th and 2. Going for it and converting with the forward progress thanks to the catch by Pratt.
And that was a frozen rope there from Kyle Pohl. Those are the kind of throws when he makes those. That's why I say he's got a chance to be the next NFL quarterback from the MAC. Just a junior, 6'3", 217. He's kind of Brady-esque the way he stands in the pocket. I really like his skills.
Standing in again in the crowd. That ball's loose and recovered by Bowling Green.
And of course, the big guy, Taylor Royster, comes up with another fumble recovery.
His second tonight, 4th of the year, and it might have been Brian Thomas who knocked the ball free just as Pohl was attempting the pass. I don't think the arm was going forward with the football. This should be a fumble, Ray.
Yeah, let's take a look at it and see. No, that ball was knocked out. You're right. Brian Thomas, who blocked that field goal earlier, he finishes that one off, and that was an open hand coming forward. I don't think there's any chance that would be reviewed and overturned. That's a forced fumble sack from Brian Thomas, and the recovery, second of the night for Royster.
Whenever there's a loose ball on the ground and Taylor Royster's somewhere in the vicinity to recover it,
we'll eat it up.
4th most fumble recoveries in the FBS you see there for the Bowling Green defense. Pullman getting the run here, and now you're at a point in the game, even though it's still early in this fourth quarter, Ray, where do you expect Bowling Green to mix in quite a few more runs just to keep the clock running?
Absolutely. I think you still pass the football when necessary, but this is where you grind it out. If you're Dino Babers, you're going to say, hey, let's not take any crazy chances. Let's still play football, but we can tone the throwing game down a little bit and see if we can run it. Pound it down the throats. Of course, that's hard to do when you lost a couple of running backs throughout the course of the night.
They lost Travis Green, one of their first possessions of the football game. I think Coppett's been banged up and has come back, and looks like he might have gotten banged up again.
That's basically why they have Pullman in there in the running back position. And don't forget, he fumbled earlier in the ball game. Not real used to carrying the football.
Rain letting up a little bit more down there, Q?
Yeah, it actually is. It's gotten a little chilly, though. Interesting, on the Bowling Green sideline, they fired up their heaters. Their coaching staff is also yelling out now to their quarterback and the rest of the offensive group to slow it down, slow it down. You know, so often we see these up-tempo teams who late in the game become their own worst enemy. They keep going fast and give their opponent an extra possession. But right now, Bowling Green clearly with an eye on that play clock, and they're going to milk it under 10 each snap.
Yeah, they're running the 4-minute offense with 12 minutes to go.
Ganapke, we've talked about what happens when he runs the football, and
actually wasn't too bad.
Well,
I wouldn't call it nifty, but made a couple little moves there.
Still a bit of a reluctant runner.
That's well said.
So 4th and 3, and they're going to try to keep the drive moving and keep the clock moving in the process by going for it here just on the Akron side of midfield. And they're just going to try to draw him off.
I don't know. I'm going to throw it to this guy right here, though. They're
wide open.
Nobody covered in the vicinity to cover him. I mean, you have this defender here, but in that situation, I'd zip it out there to him. You only need a couple of yards.
Now they're going to let play clock run down and take the penalty and punt.
Probably a wise decision.
5-yard penalty remains. 4th down.
And Quint was right. It is getting a little chillier. I'm even feeling it up here in the comfort of this warm booth.
Still windy. Dino Babers giving his freshman Roger Lewis a little hug there. Boy, they're really high on that young kid.
They are. And a lot of people are really high on Dino Babers, and rightly so. He's just done a great job, and the programs that he's been to. Eastern Illinois turned them around from a 1-6 season to a 6-1 season in a conference championship and advanced to the quarterfinals. Just did an outstanding job turning that around and inherited a very good team here with Bowling Green.
Down just outside the 15, a 38-yard punt for Joe Davidson. It's a 17-point lead for the Falcons. Just a little over 11 minutes to go in the 4th quarter from Rainy Akron. 23, Bowling Green leading the Zips. And playoff hopes are on the line with the Irish and the Sun Devils collide out west. College football presented by K Jewelers Saturday. Number 10 Notre Dame versus number 9 Arizona State, 3:30 Eastern on ABC. You can get out the tents out in Tempe and get ready many days in advance of that game.
Tent City, students waiting in line to buy tickets for that ball game, and they don't go on sale until Friday. So they've been lined up out there since this past weekend.
The diehard fans, you gotta love them. Here's Akron taking over at their own 16-yard line. Cole puts it in the air and has his receiver at the 32-yard line, and stepping out of bounds is L.T. Smith III.
Yeah, I remember in my college days, living in a tent probably would have been an upgrade for my dorm room.
The MAC Player of the Year had to live in some down digs, and
probably because of the way we took care of the place more than anything.
Oh.
Or didn't take care of it.
So self-inflicted. I got you. Pole throws across the middle, an immediate tackle at the 41 after the catch of Tyler Williams by James Sanford.
And Williams has showed a little bit of a spark to this offense tonight.
And again, maybe it's the fact that they're playing against a defense that has a 17-point lead, but when they go with this hurry up, their offense seems to flow a little better.
Yeah, I would take note of that if I'm Terry Bowden, and maybe try to implement a little bit more of that into the mix.
Lunsford with a tackle of Chisholm.
Coach Bowden, he's calling the plays.
Well, you mentioned the 5 wins they had last year and went 4-4 in conference. This is a program that's been Division I since 1987. They've never won over 7 games in the history of their program at the Division I level. There's a 10-yard run up to midfield for Chisholm.
Yeah, won 1 MAC Division championship in 2005.
Right.
But from that time on, really down. And Coach Bowden had a Herculean task to rebuild this program.
Yeah, won 7 games in that year when they won a title in 2005, and that is almost intercepted and should have been picked by Nick Johnson. Looking for his 3rd INT tonight. Couldn't come up with that lucky number 3.
And I got to tell you, that one just spoiled his night. And, you know, you can say, yeah, I had 2, but, man, he could have had 3. Definitely a turf pounder.
A freshman who's from nearby, Canton, Ohio. Bit of a homecoming for him tonight, and what one it has been for the freshman. Russian 4, Pole rolling out. Hit as he throws, and incomplete at the 45. And there comes the late flag, Brian Thomas, with the hit on Pole.
And Thomas, he hit him in the head, so he's going to get a roughing the quarterback.
Personal foul, horse collar tackle, defense number 43, 15-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
So the horse collar, let's take another look.
Well, here he goes. There's the blow to the head.
Oh, yeah.
No, I don't necessarily see a horse collar in the mix, but it definitely was a blow to the head. But it was definitely a penalty, however you want to label it.
And a first down for Akron at the Bowling Green 35-yard line. 9.5 minutes to play still in this fourth quarter. Hole threads it in there nicely to Tyler Williams for a first down at the 15.
And that's a big league throw. Boy, you said thread, and that was the eye of a needle. There's a very small window. Look at how he sticks it in there between 3 defenders. And again, Tyler Williams stepping up and making a play.
Hole now 27 of 51 through the air, 262 yards. He has thrown 2 picks tonight. Taken off and headed towards the pylon into the end zone. And a touchdown for Jawan Chisholm, his 4th rushing TD of the year.
Andrew Pratt threw a really nice block out on the edge to spring him. Might have even gotten away with holding on Nick Johnson. You see right there, a little jersey separated from the body, but no flag, no foul. And Akron's not just going to go quietly into the night here.
So that dirty dorm room didn't prevent you from completing the English lit degree.
No.
And making a fine quote there that Akron is not finished tonight. They found the end zone for the first time. Have made it a 2-score game with Chisholm's touchdown. It's 20-10.
ESPN College Football Primetime is presented by Jimmy John's, great sandwich delivery, and in part by Lexus, introducing the first ever 306 horsepower RC Coupe from Lexus.
Well, the rain is just about let up. Still a little bit of wind, and Akron with that last touchdown, their first of the night, has gotten themselves back in the game, and Bowling Green trying to hang on for a win that would really put them in the driver's seat. If they win tonight, they'd be 4-1 in conference play, would need just one more win of the remaining 3 games. They have Kent State next week. Akron, if they're able to come back and win this, throws the East Division just up for grabs.
It does, and it puts them in the driver's seat because they'll be tied with Bowling Green with a head-to-head win.
Kobe and Gibbons back deep.
I think they have to continue with the high-tempo offense, Mark. It's been an entirely different feel when they go fast.
Well, the Falcons are the reigning conference champions, and look at their last few seasons. They've been 5-3 now, 3 consecutive years at this juncture with conference records of 3-1. Last year, they won 5 straight. Of course, won the conference championship, went to the Little Caesars Bowl before falling to Pitt by 3 points in Detroit. That was under Dave Clawson and his staff, and now here's Dino Babers in his first season as the head coach for the Bowling Green Falcons, trying to repeat as conference champions, and to do so need to win the East first to try to accomplish that.
Right, and Dino Babers told us that they really, I mean, this is an entirely new offense. And he said they're growing each and every week, and they're getting better at it, but they really haven't hit full stride yet.
And off to Gibbons. Powers his way up to the 30-yard line. Another thing a win for Bowling Green would do, besides put them really in the driver's seat in the East Division, was give them 6 wins and make them bowl eligible for the 3rd consecutive year.
That thing's going in the right direction down there in Bowling Green. Coach Babers stepped in at a good time and continues to build his resume. See Bowling Green still milking that clock as they let the play clock go down probably under 5 before they'll snap it.
Good pass out to Goldbrink, who gets a block on the edge. Maybe too good a one from Lewis as the flags fly.
Yeah, that was a holding call on Lewis. And he's a tenacious blocker, but he gets a little handsy at times out there. Anytime a guy puts up his hands, that's a sure sign.
Offense, number 1, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Repeat, 2nd down.
Here it is. You see, that's just a blatant grab.
Yeah. Quinn adds more on the Falcons down below. Quinn.
Yeah, it's pretty fascinating what they've been able to do offensively. You guys mentioned the transition, basically from a pro-style offense now to a 4 and 5 receiver spread up tempo, and it's been everybody. Coach Babbers before the game said the offensive line had to get in better shape. Our tight ends and fullbacks had to find roles. Our receivers, different route tree, and then most of all the quarterback, who now has to make decisions on every play, multiple decisions, and the offense really rests on his shoulders.
And he said one of the reasons Roger Lewis has been so successful, he didn't have to unlearn anything coming in as a true freshman.
How much there for Givens? Last year this was a team, let's face it, Ray and Quint, they won with their defense.
Oh, without a doubt. And then played, as Quint said, a pro-style offense, power, ran the ball well, play action, those type of things. Like to possess the football and eat it up that way. And this year they only average 24 minutes a game. There's abouts for possession, and they're just that high tempo, as we saw earlier, leading the nation in plays per second.
Big play here for the Akron defense on 3rd and 9, and Kanapke right back near the line of scrimmage, run down by Jatavis Brown, who's had a huge night defensively for the Zips. He's up, 15, 16 tackles now.
Yeah, that would be number 16 for him on the night. And also a couple of forced fumbles and a tackle for loss for Jatavis Brown, having a career-type evening.
Well, this game's not over.
No, not by any stretch.
Monty Davis back at his own 38. Receive the Joe Davidson punt. Davidson punting into the wind, though it's not quite as strong a wind as it was early in the game. Davidson gets it away, and Davis lets it bounce. And it's down at the 37-yard line, so not bad starting field position for Akron after a 37-yard punt. Still 6:24 to go. Getting jiggy with 6:24 to play fourth quarter. The Mac East battle, 2010, Bowling Green leading Akron. There's a Big Ten battle coming up Saturday. Buckeyes and Spartans square off in a decisive battle for the Big Ten and college football playoff race. 14th ranked Ohio State, number 8 Michigan State, Saturday 8 Eastern on ABC. He's not bothered by the rain, the wind. He's just having a good time. And trying to spur the Akron offense again here. We really need to hurry up for 2 reasons. Ray, one is obvious, the clock, not their friend. But number 2, we've seen their offense have success hurrying things up here in the second half.
Yeah, without a doubt. That's when they've caught their rhythm.
But Paul in danger and is tackled for a loss. Back at the 35 by Kendall Montgomery, the redshirt senior out of Miami.
Yeah, relentless rush from Montgomery. He started out with a rip move from the outside, got washed past the quarterback, but stayed with it and finished hard and got it done.
Coming after Paul again, and he has to get rid of it quickly and throws low and incomplete. Out in the direction of Williams. All kinds of pressure that time coming after Paul.
Yeah, Gabe Martin basically left his middle linebacker spot, went to the edge and blitzed, and nobody picked him up. Almost got home.
The incompletion stopped the clock with 5:51 to go, but it's a 3rd and 12 for the Zips. The 3 receivers at the top of the screen. Paul looking in that direction. Has time to throw far across the field. It's caught, but shy of the first down. Having to come back for the ball was Smith. DJ Lynch on the coverage.
And they got to go for it here, Mark.
It's 4th and short.
I think about bringing Cody Grice in and pound it at this point, but it looks like they're going to stay in this same setup.
4th and short, 4th and less than a yard. And it's handed off at the first down, easily up to midfield. It was Jawan Chisholm. And at that time, they didn't need the 285-pound Cody Grice.
Well, they caught Bowling Green not set. That defensive line in the middle there weren't even down in their stances. And if you're playing run in a short yardage situation and you're not down in the stance, you're going to get hit in the chest and knocked back. And that's exactly what happened. So the tempo works again for the Zips.
They rush 4. Paul throwing. Up in the air, who has it? A battle for the football, and intercepted by Stevens.
Clinton Stevens goes up and wrests it away from the receiver. And that was a close one. Smith, they both really had their hands on the ball. Take a look at it. I mean, a tie will go to the offense, and you can see right there at the end, Stevens ends up with possession. So I think that's a good call. Now there, it's mutual. It's, you know, they both have it, but at the end, Stevens got it. And Poles can't believe it.
5th turnover tonight for Akron. Remember, this is a team the last time they played 10 days ago turned it over 5 times in the second half alone in their 35-21 loss at Ball State, a game they led at the half 21-6.
You see the problems that they've had tonight with the drop passes and then the turnovers really have killed this football team.
Well, the pile just keeps moving and moving.
Well, Akron's trying to rip the football out. And so what happens in that case, you forget about tackling the guy. And so Givens just keeps the legs driving and both arms wrapped around the ball, and then the flags come out.
We get the call from referee Don Willard.
After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct, defense number 6. It's number 6, first unsportsmanlike conduct, penalty of the game. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
DeAndre Scott, cornerback number 6 there.
There he is right in the middle of that pile. And let's see what he does to draw the ire of the officials. That's just wouldn't stop at the end. Oh, that's what it was, the slap to the head. And he's fortunate he didn't get tossed, because that's enough. I've seen guys get thrown out of games for that. You throw a punch, and by rule, you should be ejected. Really was more of a kind of a slap.
A little
really.
swipe, yeah. But enough to catch the eye of the official. And he mentioned the fact that it is his first personal foul, because he had another one, yeah. Well, it's a first down for Bowling Green at the 41.
I think Kanapke missed the handoff.
Something weird happened there, but it's a gain of 5 for Kanapke.
I don't believe it was a called quarterback keep. I'm going to go out on a limb here.
Saw Givens look back like, hey, I think I forgot something back there.
Yeah. The mail.
Well, another storyline we mentioned at the top of the telecast, Ray, I think we should mention as we get deeper into this fourth quarter, is the 17-day layoff Bowling Green had coming into this game. And if there was any rust, I don't think it was rust. It was just more of a situation of the playing conditions here tonight.
Yeah, I think that referencing the drop passes early on by this football team, and that was, both sides were dropping the football.
Givens remembers the football, and he has a first down up to the 49, a gain of 6. Tackled by DeAndre Scott. It took a while to find any kind of flow with the weather conditions here tonight.
And Givens has stepped in his expanded role here tonight and done a good job.
No further word on Travis Green, their starting running back, who left the game early. Some kind of leg injury, but that's obviously one the Falcons have to be concerned about. Losing him for any length of time would be a very difficult loss.
There's a blitz.
Green to the 45. Quinn, you have some more on Green tonight?
Yeah, Travis Green has come out of the locker room. He's in a warm-up suit, and he has a boot on his left foot. He's standing up. He's got an orange warm-up suit on, about at the 50-yard line. Just a big smile on his face right now, kind of limping around with that boot on. So, all in all, not a bad sign. They're back to their normal 7-day turnaround.
Yeah, I guess boots aren't a great thing, but it's better than a knee, or you start envisioning the worst, and hopefully it's something that doesn't keep Green out for long. We'll step aside with 2:53 to go. Under 3 minutes to play. Falcons leading the Zips 20-10. They've battled the elements all night. The Hardy Souls here at InfoCision Stadium.
The hardcore Zip fans. I'm sure there's a smattering of Falcon fans in here as well.
Second down from the 45 of the Zips, and that's a tackle for a loss. You know, each of these teams will have 3 games left after tonight, and Bowling Green hangs on again. A win next week against Kent State would give them the East Division title. Akron will use their second time out of this half.
Right.
You know, the Zips with 4 wins, obviously getting to 6 is to become bowl eligible, I assume would be a big goal.
Without a doubt.
And this is their first of 4 consecutive Tuesday games. We look at the Bowling Green schedule again. Kent State, that at Toledo could be a little precursor of possibly what will happen at Ford Field later for the conference championship. We'll see. They finish with Ball State. But then Akron, you know, this is the beginning of 4 straight Tuesdays they play. Tough chore to go to Buffalo next week. But then you got UMass and Kent State. Possibly winnable games there.
Yeah, I could see them running the table. And, you know, if they take some things from this game tonight, I think adding tempo to their offense, assuming that Coach Bowden will digest this and see that and the success that they had with that and add that to what they normally do. Because they were much better going faster tonight.
Only bowl game the Zips have ever been to is when they won the MAC back in 2005. Went to the Motor City Bowl that year. Gibbons finds a crease and may head to the end zone. And there he goes. 6th rushing touchdown of the year for Andre Gibbons.
And that was the final nail.
Andre Gibbons carries.
Well, good block by Chris Pullman on the linebacker. C.J. Mizell is what sprung him. Watch Mizell, number 12, step up, and here's your block right there. You only got an arm out to try and make an arm tackle. And after that, it was just a foot race.
46-yard touchdown run for Andre Gibbons. And the point after is tacked on by Tyler Tate, and it's 27-10. This is the kind of big play that both teams were looking for in that first half. It just couldn't find.
Right, just popped that run, and then no safeties home. They were spread out wide in coverage duty, and once you break past that second group, it's long gone time. And here's your story, really, of the night. And both coaches, that was their #1 thing on the list. I asked them, how do you win this game? And Dino Babers said, we got to take care of the football. And Coach Terry Bowden, same thing. And we got to protect the ball, can't turn it over, and we got to get them ourselves. And you see how that turned out.
Now the 46-yard touchdown run for Gibbons is the longest play from scrimmage tonight for either team. And on a night where the really big play had been elusive until this second half. It was a 6-3 game at half. 3-point lead for Bowling Green. But
and the Falcons turned it around with the
turnovers,
fumble recovery in the end zone. Royster fell on that, got himself a 6-pointer there, and then the interceptions by Nick Johnson led to more points. That's all it took.
Set it at the 7-yard line. Putting it ahead of steam all the way up to the 36. Drew Phillips. A win for Bowling Green tonight makes them 6-3, bowl eligible for the 3rd consecutive year, 4-1 in conference play, needing just one more win to wrap up the East Division and give themselves a date for the 2nd straight year in the conference championship game at Ford Field in Detroit.
Yeah, and their defense is improving. It's gotten healthy. I think, you know, that 16, 17-day layoff was really beneficial to this team. Sometimes a break like that can thwart your momentum and get you a little stale, but it came at a good time for them, I think. Got them healthy.
Pull on first down to the sideline at the 42. The catch and out of bounds, Durazio. You know, I don't know if I've ever seen a team, it's just a quirk of the schedule for Bowling Green to have a 17-day layoff during the season.
That's one of the mega buys. That's almost like a bowl situation.
Right. Pull hands off to Chisholm. Lose one defender and then down at the 49-yard line. But does have a first down run, tackled by Brian Sutton after a gain of 8.
Bowling Green now is just rushing 3. They've got 8 dropped back. The only thing they're worried about is anything being thrown over their head. No cheapies or long plays going to be allowed.
Cole looking to connect, and with 3 white shirts around him, unable to make the catch is Pratt. Rylan Ward was one of the 3 defenders for the Falcons in the vicinity.
And this will be a tough one for Terry Bowden and his football team. They had high expectations coming in here tonight and really got this program up to a point where they're playing late in the season for control of the division, which is a far cry from where this place was when Coach Bowden took over.
Yeah, no question about that. Pratt up to the 45. You and I saw Akron play their final game of the year in Coach Bowden's first season. That was at Toledo. That was not a real good football team. They have made some drastic improvements. Look at the improvement now in year 3.
Right, and that was in that 2012 year that you and I saw them, and flipped it pretty good last year, increased the win total from 1 to 5. See where they're at now with a chance with the way the schedule sets up. They have a pretty good opportunity to get to 7 wins.
Another first down run for Chisholm of 7 yards.
Another thing they did, they went in and beat Pitt.
Right.
In Pittsburgh, and that's a feather in the cap.
It's their first win against an ACC team since 2006. And there's a catch at the 20 for Pratt, and he has a first down at the 17-yard line, a 20-yard gain.
Another impressive throw from Kyle Pohl. I know it's kind of garbage time and at the end, but you can't deny the talent, the arm talent that Kyle Pohl possesses.
Pohl, the strike towards the end zone, and broken up at the last moment by Brian Sutton, the safety.
One thing you look at is how hard a team will compete at the end of a ball game where they have no chance, and that's really the situation Akron's in now. And they have continued to work at it and get after it, and that reflects well on Coach Bowden and his staff.
Another one for the end zone. Durazio trying to adjust, but incomplete. Clock stop with 1:18 to go.
This starts a nice long run of midweek November games. The Mid-American Conference is featured.
Fun time of year.
It is. I love it. The Maction, as some people want to call it. So there's a player down. The action is stopped. We've seen far too much of that tonight.
That's Jude I.J. Barima, a redshirt senior.
Good to see him standing up on his own. See if he can put some weight on that thing. Looks like he's primarily on his own power.
I.J. Barima is from Columbus, Ohio.
He's had a big night for this Bowling Green defense. Got him down for 10 tackles this evening.
62 tackles now on the year for I.J. Barima. 3rd down and 10. And movement will make it 3rd and 15.
The defense yelled move and made a shift, and it drew the offense off sides. Or made a move.
False start. Offense, number 75. 5-yard penalty remains. 3rd down.
A Pohl tonight. There's Brumbaugh who moved, but Pohl's completion percentage just over 50%, but he's attempted 60 passes now tonight, 31 of 60. And the 60 pass attempts are an Akron school record for a single game. Luke Getzey had thrown 59 in a game back in 05 against Memphis. That was the previous single game record for the Zips.
And about a half a dozen or so of those were dropped tonight. Really killed any momentum they had going early.
Adjustment by Pratt. The end zone.
Where's the flag?
A little bump in there at the end. Ryland Ward, number 15 on the coverage of Pratt.
And Ward might have got away with a little something on that one. I'm not the only one who thinks so.
Still some vocal fans with 1:13 left. So 4th and 15, and that's one last shot here for the Akron offense tonight. 304 yards passing for Cole. Looking to add to that. Won't get a chance yet. It's another.
Well, you got that loud move call again, and it Akron is moving when Bowling Green's saying move. I don't think that call's meant for them.
Offense, number 11, 5-yard penalty remains. 4th down.
It's on wide receiver Zach Horazio. Horazio tonight, 4 catches for 31 yards. Came in averaging team high 57 yards receiving per game.
Yeah, they never really got him started. They didn't really target him enough early on, in my opinion.
Oh,
you got 3 in a row now. This one, Cedric Brittenham, the right tackle. And this is the
False start. Offense, number 74, 5-yard penalty remains. 4th down.
This is the 6th different starting combination of offensive linemen for Akron in their 9th game. But I think they've got it settled now in pretty good shape. But it takes a while for an offensive line to meld. They've moved guys around from one side to the other, from guard to tackle. But I think they've honed in on it pretty good right now.
Let's see if they got a play for 4th and 25.
They do. I want to know it.
At least it won't be 4th and 30 with another false start. There's a throw towards the end zone. It's in a crowd and incomplete. Horazio, closest receiver, and Akron turns it over on downs. And Bowling Green take a couple of knees and end this one and improve to 6-3, become bowl eligible, and really have to completely self-destruct down the final 3 games not to win the MAC East Division now.
Right, and they'll get a shot at that as early as next week. And they'll take on Kent State.
Yeah, they will host Kent State next Wednesday night.
These are updated.
That's assuming the
put this one in the books.
Akron will drop to 2-3, their 3rd straight loss. They started conference play 2-0.
Right, and about halftime, the game against Miami is when they lost Kyle Pohl, and since that time, although he did come back tonight, they kind of got on the schneid and lost 3 in a row. And the problem has been turnovers, and it continued tonight with Pohl in the lineup.
You know, they had a chance to win at Ohio, lost in the final couple of minutes, lost 23-20. Then, as we mentioned, had to lead at Ball State at the half in their last game, and then the 5 turnovers. So
21-6. I'm watching that game. They really were dominant. They were pushing Ball State all over the place, and then the turnover bug hit them in that second half.
One more snap should do it. With Bowling Green a 27-10 win over Akron tonight. Starting to rain a little bit harder, which is probably appropriate because it's been that kind of night, wind and rain, and played a big part primarily in the first half, I think, Ray. But
yeah,
Bowling Green was a team that adjusted in the second half and go on to the win.
Yeah, they made the big plays, forced the turnovers, came up with the points off of them, and that's what you have to do to become a champion.
Career high rushing night for Fred Coppett, though it came at some expense, some serious bumps and bruises, I'm sure. 18 carries, 113 yards. Gibbons also went over 100 for Bowling Green with 101 tonight. So Bowling Green wins it over Akron tonight, 27-10, and the Falcons really take control in the MAC East Division. For Quint Kesnick and Ray Bentley, as well as our entire ESPN crew, I'm Mark Neely. Thanks so much for sharing this one with us. 27-10, the Falcons beat the Zips, and so long from Akron, Ohio.